our spring ball with that retention and that continuity and the consistency not only of the players but of the staff to be able to promote Coach Ulrich from within. Yeah, there's some things that'll be uniquely different, but the overall structure is the same. They've been able to, do great work together, like they know one another.
Now, time for John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one, John and Jim back in San Diego after a couple of eventful days in Vegas for Mountain West Media Day. And we still have that great giveaway we've had all week long. As good of a giveaway as you're going to find on John and Jim. Comic-Con badges. This is it, Jim. This is the final day we're giving away Comic-Con badges.
Yep.
For 2025. Comic-Con, believe it or not, is days away. It's going to get underway next week.
Yep.
We have single-day badges. You're doing the same thing you've been doing all week. You're going to hear a Superman theme song every hour. It could be multiple times an hour. When you hear it, you'll have exactly 5 minutes to open the iHeart app, search for San Diego Sports 760. When you're there, put us in your presets as the number one preset. Then leave a talkback. That's that little microphone icon. Tell us your favorite superhero. All you got to do, you do it within 5 minutes of hearing the Superman theme song. You're automatically entered to win 2 single-day badges to Comic-Con. Today's winner will be announced at 5:30. Listen all day because you'll have multiple chances to open that app and win.
This is it.
This is it.
This is it. Final day.
Kind of sad.
Final day. We've had a lot of interaction this week to win these Comic-Con badges. Thank you all out there for downloading the iHeartRadio app and putting San Diego Sports 760 in your presets and leaving a talkback on the talkback mic. But today's it. Today's the final day. So if you have not won a pair of badges this week and you really want to win, make sure you're listening today for that Superman sounder. And once it hits, as John said, you only got 5 minutes to leave a talkback on the talkback mic of your favorite superhero. So listen intently today, guys.
Be listening. We'll announce that winner at 5:30. Kevin Acey, our Padres insider from D.C. We texted back and forth. He'll join us at 3 p.m. He said, this road trip is so long for me. I'm going to talk to you 6 times from the road. He was in Atlanta.
That's right.
Monday, Wednesday. He's now in D.C. for Friday. Next week, the road trip continues. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
The life of Kevin Acey right there.
The life of a beat writer in baseball. But he'll spend 2 weeks on the road. This is the time a year ago where the Padres just took off full throttle. Played as well as any team in baseball from this point until the end of the regular season. Can they match that? That's a very high bar, obviously. Kevin writing. Now, he has said this to us. I do not find this as new news. But he wrote this today. It's gotten traction. It got traction when he said it here. This is what he wrote today in the UT about the Padres and the upcoming trade deadline 13 days away. An exact quote. They don't have a lot of money to commit, nor do they have a lot of prospects or young major leaguers to trade. This is completely in line, Jim, with what he's been reporting for now 2 or 3 weeks and in multiple conversations he's had with us on John and Jim. I think he's kind of downplaying the idea that the Padres and Preller are going to make some sexy move, big splash coming up in the next 10 or 13 days. Even if they wanted to, it doesn't sound like they have the resources necessarily to do it. I don't find it a surprise because he's been saying it repeatedly. He's doubled down and written it today as the second half begins.
I don't find it a surprise either, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Preller does go out and make a sizable move. You know?
Right. Either way.
Like either way.
Even with his reporting and what he's writing.
Yeah. Even with Kevin reporting this today, and he's told us on the show multiple times about this. I remember about a month ago we talked about this, and he said those very words of maybe we shouldn't expect something huge at the deadline this year.
That's right.
But then again, as Kevin always tells us after every time we talk about the trade deadline, and we'll talk about it with him again coming up today at 3 p.m., it is AJ Preller. So you never know. While there could be, people inside that organization that are telling Kevin this, and this led to his reporting, Preller could, on a dime, pull a 180 here and go, you know what? Actually, we're gonna say F it, and we're gonna trade all these guys.
Right.
But there also is that question of he can't just do that anymore because he has to go to John Seidler and present a outline of how much money potentially he would be bringing back in these trades if he's going out and trying to get guys like Sean Murphy.
That is interesting when you put it that way, right? Like how much money are the Padres taking on in any move they are looking to make? And I wonder, has the conversation already occurred where John Seidler has said, hey, keep the payroll where it is. You can increase it $3 to $5 million. You can increase it $5 to $10 million. Like, is there a number that Preller knows now, 2 weeks out? How could you not know? I would think you would know it in your conversations. Like, we can only add X. And by the way, I think there's not, like, when you add at the deadline, you could add a player that makes $15 million, but you're adding August 1st. They're only owed 1/3 of that. That's only $5 million for the rest of the year. The problem with a player like Sean Murphy is he's owed $15 million a year in 2026 and beyond. The problem with a player like Luis Robert Jr., we'll see if the White Sox eat some of his salary, is that Robert Jr. is owed $20 million, Jim, each of the next 2 years. So I think it starts there. Yes, the prospect capital matters, but if AJ Preller can't take on money, then how could you make a sizable move at the deadline? But I'm with you. I'm not ruling it out. I can't rule it out with AJ Preller. He'll get creative. Jarren Duran doesn't make any money. So you're not taking on money to add Jarren Duran. You're just trading away top prospects to add Jarren Duran.
Yeah, this is not like a free-for-all where he can just go out there and try to trade for anybody.
Right.
He has to get approval. And I think that might be the hardest part of whatever AJ would want to do at the deadline is making sure the money lines up and getting the approval from John to add whatever you're going to add at the deadline. Now, when we asked Kevin earlier this week about Sean Murphy, Kevin said he hasn't heard one thing about Sean Murphy at all with this organization. Not one. It's been mostly centered around Jarren Duran. Like Jarren Duran, his name is coming up a lot linked to the Padres. Enamored with Jarren Duran.
Yep.
So as well as Luis Robert Jr. Those two names are the two names that have come up the most, I feel like, with this Padres club at the deadline here. And if they went out and got a Jarren Duran and Luis Robert Jr., I don't know if I would be that surprised. But, you know, we'll have to see. Are those two players that if Preller went out and got Luis Robert Jr. and Jarren Duran at the deadline, do you feel like those two players are the players that could help take this team over the top?
I don't think they had two outfielders, even though you could argue Robert Jr. is more of a bench piece on a good team than a starter where he is right now with the White Sox right now.
You could define him as a bat.
He definitely is a bat. But
he's a bat.
I'll further the conversation with what you said about Dennis and what we're saying about Kevin. How about AJ Cassavell telling our former colleague Marty Caswell, we mentioned this yesterday, that AJ would be shocked if they didn't add two bats, to your point. Now, I think one of the bats is a catcher. And even like today, you know, I think that has been such a constant issue with this team. They've even overcome some of their issues in left field just by playing Gavin Sheets in left field.
He's done much better.
What they haven't overcome is their catching logjam, ineptitude. They haven't overcome having a DH spot that's given them no productivity offensively this year. So if you really want to make that full update with your lineup, like the full upgrade with your lineup, I don't think it's one bat. I think it is two bats, and I have no idea if it's enough. They've done this repeatedly at the deadline as buyers over the last half decade, and it's never worked the way you thought it would. Even with Soto, I thought it would be better than it was. They've acquired quote unquote all-stars. Adam Frazier, it didn't work out. They've tried everything over the years, and it's worked maybe to some extent, but I'm not expecting everything out of it. But I think you have to try, and I think you need to upgrade your offense.
And I want everybody to know when these reports come out from Kevin, this is not like an absolute thing. Oh, when you say I thought like people listening think a trade is coming down, and all that's happening is you're sneezing, and you want to know why we are who we are. Brent looked at me like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, like do we have a Duran move? No, you're sneezing.
just
people are
just
pulling
me
over.
And my allergies.
They're pulling over, and you're sneezing at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Okay. That was out of nowhere. I don't feel like today I'm going to have a sneezing attack either. That was just like a rando. Just, there it is.
Sneezes by and large are out of nowhere. Nobody's like, yo, I'm going to sneeze in 25 minutes.
But you know me, when I start sneezing.
Sneeze. Achoo.
Right. You know me, if I sneeze once, it feels like it's going to happen the next hour and a half nonstop.
This is a bit of a U-turn, but night one in Vegas, when we went out to sushi and then we came back and we were both tired. And Jim went to his room. I think I actually went downstairs and got something, then went back to my room. He tells me the next morning, he's like, I had like an allergy attack and
couldn't sleep.
I couldn't sleep until I could sleep, and I was up for like hours. I'm like, what?
I laid down and I instantly started just sneezing my head off.
Do you think they were getting calls to the front desk? It's Vegas. Like these hotels can be crazy, and like there's parties, there's music, and you think someone called down like, yo, there's someone that like won't stop sneezing, and it's midnight, and I can't sleep. Is this dude next to me?
I
just
hope not.
Sneezing.
Even though when I was in the bathroom, like brushing my teeth, I could hear the room next to me.
Were they partying?
They were not partying, but I heard people talking.
Then they heard you sneezing.
They did. What I was going to say before I sneezed was these reports from Kevin aren't absolutes. They're not they don't have money and they don't have any prospects.
Right.
They are, they might not have the money. They might not have the prospects to pull this off. This is not an absolute report from Kevin.
Right. I mean, he says, to your point, I agree with you. He says they don't have a lot of money.
And
that doesn't mean they don't have money.
That could be interpreted many different ways.
Does that mean add 5 million in payroll or 50?
Right.
You're right. And then nor do they have a lot of prospects, but that means they might have a little.
Correct.
Nor do they have a lot of young major leaguers to trade, but that doesn't mean they have no young major leaguers. That doesn't mean there's no one on their major league roster that could be moved. It is possible.
They absolutely have prospects. They absolutely have players in the major leagues to trade. Guess what, though? You don't want to trade those players. You don't want to trade Salas. You don't want to trade DeVries.
You don't want to trade some of your
maybe you might want to trade Salas, but anyway.
I don't think you want to trade Salas. You may be inclined to do it.
Exactly. You don't want to trade him, but if you had to trade him for a piece that you really wanted, I would look at doing that deal.
Right.
At the major league level, to me, the only players that would bring back value are Adrian Morejon, maybe Robert Suarez if you package them together, but Adrian Morejon for sure. Other than that, I mean, could you get something for Dylan Cease? I've talked about this.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Couple weeks ago. You could get something for Dylan Cease, but you're not going to get a king's ransom for him.
No, he's a rental and he's not having a good year. But here's the thing with Morejon in this conversation. He's come up a few times. I'll ask it to you and we can discuss it on the other side.
Not trading Morejon.
Why would you?
Not trading Morejon.
You invested so much money and time into his success. And now that he's quote unquote made it and he's an anchor in your bullpen that's preserving leads, why would a buyer move that player? Now, sometimes buyers do sell to like recommit or reallocate assets elsewhere. I just don't think Adrian Morejon is the type of player I would want to move on from. He's under control through next year. He's not making a ton of money. He's arbitration eligible. He's the guy I want here now, and I want him here in 2026 if I think I'm winning each of the next 2 years.
He's finally found a role where he excels at.
Yeah.
He's a first-time All-Star. The back end of that bullpen is the strength of this team. Without the back end of that bullpen,
they're nowhere near this spot right now.
Nope. They're probably 500 or worse.
We might be talking about them selling realistic. We may actually be having that conversation. You're right. Without the four horsemen, we'd be talking about them selling.
So,
all right, more on the Padres at the trade deadline on the other side. Plus, Dylan Cease, a very telling statistic about Cease that details his struggles. We'll tell you that coming up later this hour. Kevin Acee, our Padres insider at 3 p.m. Just underway on John and Jim. Be listening for the Superman sounder for the Comic-Con badges. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, one statistic to detail Dylan Cease's struggles. Let's share that with you coming up at 2:30. He'll get the start out of the deadline in the second half, or out of the All-Star break into the second half for the Padres coming up in the next 2 hours. We remind you, San Diego Sports 760 has 13 chances to win $1,000. That's every weekday with the Bonus Bucks giveaway. Listen for the keyword entered at sportssd.com. Next chance to win $1,000 coming up at 3 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Oh, wow, just like that. Wow. Unbelievable.
Okay.
Oh. So now what do we do?
Well, if you heard that sounder right there, you need to go to the iHeartRadio app. You need to make sure that San Diego Sports 760 is in your presets. Hit the red talkback mic. Tell us your favorite superhero. You have 5 minutes to do that right now to be qualified for the grand prize of a pair of badges to Comic-Con next week. You only have 5 minutes right now for this sounder. Good luck.
I want to try this real quick. So I'm in the iHeart app. I clicked on 760.
Yeah.
There's a red talkback mic in the top right-hand corner.
Yeah.
It has a microphone.
Yeah.
I click on the microphone. iHeart would like to access the microphone. Sure. You do you. Tap, record, and send a message to San Diego Sports 760.
You might not want to do it because then you are qualified.
Well, I'm not going to win.
Okay.
I don't think. Well, let me just show how easy it is for our listeners.
Sure. Okay, do it.
If I win, then you guys can go to Comic-Con.
Okay.
The winner is Sean Wafer.
Yeah.
All right. So I tapped the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1. My favorite superhero is Fernando Tatis Jr. Okay. And then sending.
Boom.
That easy.
That easy.
And I'm not going to win because that's not even
takes 15 seconds.
I don't even know if it
maybe
takes that long.
less.
Seriously.
Honestly,
that's how easy it is.
It's
do
very
what I
easy.
just did.
Yeah.
Open the app, download the app, search for 760, click the little red microphone, tell us your favorite superhero, and you're entered for that grand prize, the pair of badges to Comic-Con, single day badges to Comic-Con. What is Brent laughing at? Something related to
Did it come through?
Did it come through?
No, the talkbacks also have like what they call it when you can read it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it shows.
Yeah, and yours just says, "My favorite superhero is Fernando Tatis Jr." Okay.
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 Yeah, I probably said that.
Fernando Tatis Jr. Okay.
Okay. Where were we with the trade deadline coming up? Well, okay. Here's where we were. Here's where we left off yesterday, and here's where we begin if you're a Padres fan. It's July 18th. There are 13 games until the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
There are 10 on the road. There are 3 at home against the New York Mets. The road trip begins this weekend against the Nationals, who have really struggled. They just fired their GM and their manager, right? In Mike Rizzo. What's acceptable here? Out of the break to put Preller, John Seidler, the organization in the right position, or does it even matter much? 4-6, 6-4, it's all the same. Who even cares? They're in it to win it, regardless of what they do here over these next 10 road games or 13 games overall.
I would say if they could go 8-5 over the next 13 games,
I like that.
Then you're 11 up at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Preller will make multiple moves. Don't know the size of the moves, but he'll make multiple moves.
Right.
I think that would be like the perfect scenario. 8-5 is not something crazy to ask for here coming out of the break.
Right.
It really isn't. And last year out of the break, if you remember, they went 10-2.
into the trade deadline?
Into the trade deadline.
Gosh.
They went 10-2.
They were rolling. That
into
winning
the
streak,
deadline.
well, it was so good.
And they started the second half with that 7-0 loss to Cleveland, where they went to 50-50 on the year. And then they proceeded to win 8 games in a row and 10 of 11.
Right.
So they won after the first game of the road trip last year that they lost. They were 50-50. Then they went 10-1 over their next 11 games.
When you look at what they're about to embark on, because they had the road trip last year because of Comic-Con, they have the road trip this year because of Comic-Con. Like, do you feel like what they did last year is like something that should even be referenced? Like, well, they did it last year. Maybe they'll do it again. I mean, is that fair to even say, or is this completely different?
We don't need to reference it because last year's team was 500. This team is 8 games above 500.
True.
So you don't need to reference it because they don't need to do that.
But
unless they fall flat on their face in this road trip.
But what's their record? 52-44?
Uh-huh.
To get to 93 wins, yes, you're right. They don't have to play that last year.
38 and 28.
No, that's 90.
Oh,
Which I think is good.
Didn't you say 90 wins?
I said 93. But no, that's
I
good.
said 90.
But okay, let's just use 90. That's fine.
Yeah.
Still 38 and 28 is doing some work. They're 8 over with more games. Like I'm saying, that winning percentage, I think we did it the other day. 38 and 28 winning percentage is a really good win percentage. Would be probably one of the top 3 win percentages in the National League in the second half if they do that.
And they haven't played that good of baseball
that's the point.
Since the start of the season.
They're 3 games under 500 since their 17th game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They're 3 games under 500. So that
were they 38 and 28 at any point in the season? They had to.
Yeah, probably to start. Maybe.
Well, I'm thinking.
But they were 6. They were 14 and 3.
I know, but I'm just saying that were they at any point 38? Okay, so on where is it here? That Dodger series in the middle of June. They were 30.
Yeah, they're like 10 over probably.
Yeah. Middle of June. Yeah, 38 and 28 after the 11-1 victory against the Dodgers. So they have had a 38 and 28 stretch in them, but that would also require them to have like a 14 and 3 stretch.
That's kind of my point.
If they were now, they don't have to have a 14 and 3 stretch, but still they have gone 38 and 28 this season
year
already. And if you go 38 and 28 again, the remainder of the season, that's 90 wins. Can 90 wins get you in? I think so.
It should. I mean, it's 576 baseball. I agree with you. I think it should be what they're striving for. To get to 93 wins, though, 41 and 25. And that's not as good as they were a year ago, but it just proves how well they played in the second half last year.
Yep.
They still have to play incredible baseball. I mean, 41 and 25 would be an incredible finish to the year.
Well, you got Washington, you got Miami, you got St. Louis on this road trip. 5-5 at the worst.
Right.
5-5 at the worst. And then you come home for 3 against the Mets right before the trade deadline. You know, take 2 or 3 there.
Yeah, 7-6.
7-6. 9 games above 500.
They'd be in fine shape.
Now, I think they would actually be worse than they were last year at that point, because last year with the winning streak coming out the second half, they were 10 games up at the deadline. And
they almost identical.
Almost identical, yeah.
Almost identical.
But I think they can do better. But it all starts tonight. And we'll talk about Dylan Cease coming up next. But you got to start off the second half good. You got to have a good road trip here. Anything worse than 5-5, I think, it's just going to make this much harder on this team.
Yeah, I agree completely. And again, how confident would you be if you don't go 5-5 on this road trip? If for the organization and AJ Preller. All right, Dylan Cease gets the ball in game 1 of the second half after the All-Star break. We'll detail his struggles for the Padres here in 2025 on the other side. Plus, Kevin Acey, our Padres insider, with much more on this road trip and the upcoming trade deadline. He will join us at 3 p.m. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update's brought to you by the Jim Petrell Real Estate Team. Padres open up their second half today in Washington as they'll take on the Nationals. They have a 10-game road trip out of the second half here through Miami and then St. Louis. Dylan Cease will start the second half of the Padres. He'll be on the mound today starting at 3:45. And SDFC takes on Vancouver tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium, 7:30 kickoff, 7 p.m. pregame. Listen right here in your home of SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell as the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
All right, we're going to hear from Ken Rosenthal coming up at 3:30 on the Padres at the trade deadline. We'll hear from Kevin Acee. He'll join us live at 3 p.m. All right, Jim brought this to my attention. I didn't realize the extent of Dylan Cease's road struggles until I heard from our statistician on the show, Jim Russell. So, Jim, can you detail Dylan Cease's? We know he has struggled on the year. He's got a 4.88 ERA. He's got a 1.33 WHIP. He's 3-9 overall for whatever that's worth. But it's even worse if you just look at what Cease has done on the road. Of course, he'll start this second half on the road against the Nationals tonight.
He's 0-6 with a 6.27 ERA and a 1.39 WHIP.
So that's not good.
No, I've already checked.
You typed it into GPT. You're like, is this really good or really bad?
Yeah, I always have to make sure to ask the question, is this good?
And it's not.
And it's not good. I've checked and you've checked and we've confirmed that's not good.
So, okay, 6.27 road ERA. Now, my mind goes to Sacramento when he allowed 100 runs in 0 innings or wherever it was.
That's just not the only outing he's had bad on the road.
I know, but that's the thing. I would love to take it out. I'll take it out. I bet he still has a 4.88, 5 ERA. That's what I'd want to do. I'd start there. I would take that game out. Not that you can. Like, that's so easy. Oh, yeah, take this game out. Well, it counts.
Right.
But that's where his struggles start. But when I think about his best start of the year, it was a home start. It was against the Dodgers, 7 shutout innings at Petco Park. So, yeah, I mean, his numbers at home are fine. Was he have a 3.4 something like that? You said earlier, 3.3 ERA, 3.4.
I think it was like a 3.45 ERA.
So he's been fine.
3-3 at home, 3.4 ERA at home. It's
but
fine.
A 6.27 ERA on the road for Dylan Cease, that just will not cut it. In fact, he's got to basically have that. He's got to go from a 6 to a 3 or a mid-3 ERA in the second half. He's about to make 2 road starts right here over the next 2 starts to start the road trip.
Yeah, bold for them to start the second half with Cease opening.
Right.
But I also understand it because Pivetta pitched on Sunday.
Right.
Darvish pitched on Saturday.
I think that's right.
Okay. So you want to give them maybe a little extra rest here. And starting with Dylan Cease to open the season, he has had the most rest of any starter leading up to this start. So I guess that from that standpoint, it makes sense. The one thing that Dylan Cease will give you is he'll give you innings, but the results just aren't there. You know,
plain and simple.
I had the rant of like, guys, stop telling me his first pitch percentage rate's really good this year, and his fastball, velocity is the best in his career, and his spin rate is the top, 98th percentile in base.
His Savant page basically looks good. Is that what people are saying?
He's got almost a 5 ERA. He's winless on the road. He has a 6.27 ERA on the road. I'm sorry. Those results matter more to me than, his fastball velocity is best of his career.
You know, it's funny. I look at his Savant page and you're right. Sometimes we use that and say, well, Tatis is struggling, but look, I'm looking at his Savant page. It's not good. I mean, there's as much blue on it as there is red. He has been as mid as you could possibly be. I don't know what it's going to mean for him entering free agency. I don't really care, truthfully. They need him to be better in the second half. You want to at least have you'd like to have some faith on him if you make the postseason. You're not hiding Dylan Cease. I mean, they're going to use it. If they make the postseason, Dylan Cease has a role. You'd like him to be pitching well if you make the postseason, because you're not trying to hide a guy that you basically acquired to be at the front of your rotation. I go back to this point. To get far, you need the Kings and the Ceases. You're not going to run away from Dylan Cease and Michael King's, dealing with injuries. You're not going to go anywhere if you don't have effectiveness or health out of those players.
We said that last year, and Dylan Cease stunk it up in the postseason, and look what happened. They got bounced in the division round.
Second round, yeah.
Now, again, mostly because they couldn't score a run in 24
not
innings.
solely because of that. No.
But still, Dylan Cease, he went to bed in game 4.
Yeah, that game was over because he didn't pitch well.
Game 1, you had a big opportunity there to take game 1 at Dodger Stadium, and
He was
you
given a lead.
stunk it up.
Absolutely.
So I don't trust him in the postseason if this team were to make it there.
Right.
Long ways away from that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things could happen, but I don't think there's anything that he could do to make me trust him in the postseason.
Really?
I'm serious.
Even if his second half is like not perfect, but elite. He gets his set from here till the end of the regular season. He's got a 2.88. I'm not saying it might not be possible. He's got a 4.88. But if he posts a 2.88 from today through the remainder of the regular season, you'll say the same things entering that first postseason start.
It'll make me feel better about his chances in the postseason, but I will still have that feeling of he's going to find a way to F this up.
Yeah, I get it. I think a lot of people would agree with you.
And if he does not have those numbers that you said leading into a potential postseason, then there's no confidence in him at all. I would be very, very nervous with Dylan Cease there out on the mound in a crucial game for this team. I just would.
877-767-4760. Kevin Acee is going to join us live at 3 p.m. You're going to hear from Ken Rosenthal on the Padres at the deadline at 3:30. But right now, Eric wants to weigh in. If you do as well, 877-767-4760. And Eric, you're on with John and Jim.
Hey guys, how you doing? I enjoy listening.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
And I might be a little late as far as my question goes about the trade deadline and things of that nature. And my question is, I was just curious as to how these names, when we're talking rumors and trades and things of that nature, how these names come up. I could take a guess and think maybe, what we're willing to give up as Padres and things of that nature, contract. But from a fan's perspective, I think a need is catcher. And I say that because I have yet to hear the name Hunter Goodman. He's on a really bad team, Colorado Rockies. He's on a 1-year contract, and the guy kills it with the bat. And I have yet to hear his name thrown anywhere in the conversation of trades. And I was just curious as to maybe there was a reason why.
Appreciate it, Eric. He has come up kind of joking around in conversation. We've had the conversation about him being an all-star. He's put together a great year. There's always the Colorado effect.
Here's the thing with Hunter Goodman and being on a bad team and good players on bad teams.
Right.
Why would a bad team trade away a good, controllable, there's the key piece, controllable, cost-effective player?
Oh, yeah. He said he was on a one. No, he's not on a. This is 2025.
No, he's not on 1 year.
He's under control for the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. So he's not being traded.
The only players that are traded off of like really bad teams are players that those teams know they're not going to re-sign because they're too good and the price tag's going to go way up. So you're trying to get something for them right now, or the players with bad contracts.
Yeah, more rental
types. Rental types that are looking to offload. But you're not going to see a bad team, trade away a young, controllable, good player. It's just not going to happen. I would love Hunter Goodman, but that's just.
He's a free agent in 2030. So if you're Colorado, if there's one thing you're going to hold on to is a young player that's controllable for the next 5 years.
He's 25 years old.
As bad of an organization as they are, and you put nothing past them, there's not a realistic world where Hunter Goodman is going to be a Padre in the next 2 weeks.
Unfortunately not. Sorry, Eric.
No, but there are some legitimate names. Listen, any major league catcher, with rare exception, is an upgrade on this platoon. This Maldonado Diaz platoon has been so bad. We had the numbers within the last week or two that they're getting the second least productivity out of their catchers this year, only above Baltimore.
Which is crazy to think because
there's a team that's worse.
We've watched this team every day and they suck.
But think about that. 28 other teams are getting more productivity from their catchers. So my point is you could acquire any major league catcher. By and large, 90% of the catchers, you're upgrading at the position. It doesn't have to be Hunter Goodman. It doesn't have to be Sean Murphy, truthfully. There's got to be a suitable replacement for what they're doing right now to get more. They don't have to get a 300 hitter that comes through in the clutch every single time, but they need more than what they have.
Now, what do you make of Elias Diaz behind the plate today catching Cease instead of Martin Maldonado, who, by the way, has caught Cease all year long?
Well, what I make of it is two things. is Cease has struggled, so he doesn't need a personal catcher.
No.
Because his numbers haven't been good with the catcher he's been using. And B, neither of these catchers are good enough to be guaranteed any amount of playing time.
Right.
So whatever the matchup calls for is who's going to be in there. And Dylan Cease, I'm sorry, man. If you want a personal catcher, put together 3 consecutive good starts. And if he pitches well today, then switch your personal catcher.
Well,
That's what I would say.
I mean, he's had a personal catcher with the Padres that he pitched really well with last year. But
Higgy?
No, his name is Luis
Campy.
Campusano, who can't get any time at the big league level anymore.
That whole situation's weird.
It's like, oh, the guy threw a no-hitter with Campy behind the plate last year, had a 3.4 ERA with him last year. Nah, not good enough.
It's funny because when it's coming in today, El Paso's Facebook page had welcome back.
Yeah. I did see. I mean, the whole argument that's been made, I mean, Kevin has written about it. There's going to be a time. There are those in the organization that believe in him. He's going to get his 50 ABs. He's going to play every day. When? I mean,
no.
Do you know when that's going to happen? When he's on the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
Like
the Marlins or the
2
White Sox.
I said it the last time Kevin was on. I will be surprised if Luis Campusano is in this organization 2 weeks from today on August 1st. I just will.
And if he is, he's just in purgatory because he's never going to be at the big league level.
He'll never play ever again in the major leagues for a significant period of time.
He's just stuck in the minors.
Until it makes no sense. It really doesn't make any sense.
Okay, just real quick. So we got a little time here. Look up Luis Campusano. I want to know exactly what he did last year because I feel like he was kind of, average at best. Actually, he sucked last year.
The wheels fell off at the end.
Okay. Last year, last year he hit 227, the 642 OPS in 91 games with a negative 0.7 WAR.
Better than what they have now. I don't see anyone with a 642 OPS.
8 home runs, 40 RBIs in 91 games.
Yeah, better than what they have now.
2023 he had a 1.1 WAR in 49 games. He hit 319 with an 847 OPS, 7 homers, and 30 RBIs.
Again, I've said this too. He's not the answer, but you could at least try him for 2 weeks. He's probably not your answer, but why not give him an opportunity?
He's hitless in 21 at bats.
Maybe that's why.
This year.
Maybe that's the reason as to why. We can discuss that on the other side. Plus, Kevin Ace here, Padres Insider at 3 p.m. We'll hear from Ken Rosenthal on the Padres at the trade deadline at 3:30. We're here until 6 p.m. We're giving away Comic-Con badges as well right here on John and Jim. All right, Dylan sees Michael Soroka. There's your pitching matchup tonight. Soroka's
Marquee
been awful.
matchup right there.
Soroka's been awful, so we're gonna look up in the 7th inning. It'll be 1-1.
So is Dylan Cease.
Yeah, so, well, right. We'll look up. It'll be scoreless in the 8th inning in the Cease Soroka game, but that's coming up in about an hour or so. Kevin Acee from DC. Remember, we talked to him in Dallas Fort Worth, the airport, in the security line Wednesday.
You heard like the beeping behind him to go through security.
His hands.
Yeah, he's like, hold on, I gotta talk about Campusano real quick.
Right, exactly. So he was in Dallas Fort Worth. We talked to him from Atlanta. Think about that. We talked to him in Atlanta,
Where
Georgia.
in the world is Kevin Acee?
Exactly. From Atlanta to Dallas to DC, next week Miami,
and then St. Louis. And then back in San Diego at the end of the month.
We're going to talk to him from like 6 different states over the course of about 2 weeks. But looking forward to catch up with Kevin. I think we asked him about Campy even on Wednesday, where we all were just like quizzical. Like I think we all kind of agreed like it's over. The only reason it's even a conversation is if Kyle Higashioka was here, or if anyone was doing anything like him last year, you wouldn't even ask about it.
No.
But and it's not just catcher. Their DHs this year have given them no productivity. So
you don't believe in Trent Brooks, the DH tonight?
It's one thing not to believe in Luis Campusano as a catcher, but you don't believe in him to give him 3 straight games just at DH. He's only, okay, you're right. He's hitless in 21 or 22 at bats this year. That's not 200. I mean, that would be a baseball record.
Schulte has his guys. And I don't want to say it's favoritism, but it's like, hey, that's my guy. Hell or high water. Not gonna. This organization is out on Campusano. It is so clear. It's clear as day. They are done with the kid. That he can't crack the roster. It's with guys like Bryce Johnson on it, and Trent Brooks on it, and Diaz and Maldonado.
So what's our working theory? The organization is so far out, and Schilt doesn't control the roster, or you think it starts with Schilt on Campy? Or the front office?
I think it's a collaborative effort that Schilt has gave his opinions and his thoughts on how he feels about Campy behind the plate. AJ Preller's listened to Schilt, and I think it's like, all right, Schilt, I'll take your word for it, and we'll go this different route.
But what about not behind the plate as a batter?
Oh well, that's not Schilt. That's Preller.
But that's what I'm saying, because DH is the magic bullet Trenton Brooks.
Yeah, I don't think Schultz sitting there being like, we need to keep Trenton Brooks on this team and Tyler Wade on this team, and well, maybe he's just saying that about Tyler Wade and Bryce Johnson on this team. I do think that before the All-Star break, when he said this is what I got to work with, that was
the cry for help.
That was the cry for help right there.
And you're thinking the cry for help goes above and beyond Luis Campusano. He's asking for help from outside.
He's not asking for Campy. He's asking for something else.
Yeah, I do understand. Honestly, from the organization perspective, I thought that the critical break point for Campusano was last year when he was sent down in September, and the Padres were on this unbelievable second half run, and he wasn't on the postseason roster.
Yeah,
I think at that point the story was told.
They brought in Elias Diaz, like from the dumpster, and put him on the postseason roster.
Exactly. So I think at that point they basically had given up on him. But the only reason to me it's interesting is you're getting no production out of DH, you're getting no production out of catcher. But you said it the other day. I mean, their defensive first catchers have actually. I mean, Padres pitching has led the way, and it's not just their bullpen. I mean, they've gotten good, enough production from their rotation, especially without the Michael Kings of the world and without Yu Darvish, without Joe Musgrove. I mean, they've won games 1-0. They've won games 2-1. You got to give. I know we don't really do this, but I'll do it. You got to give Diaz and Maldonado some amount of credit for some of the success of these pitchers this year. That does matter. But at the end of the day, we need more offense. Like, Padres fans need to see more offense. The Padres are not going to win the World Series winning every game 2-1. I promise you. They're not going to do it. They need more offense. Simple as that.
If you put any average major league catcher behind the plate, I don't think they'd be worse off.
Right.
I think they'd be about the same.
Right.
So for me, I'm not going to have all this praise for Campy and Diaz for the shutouts this year.
Maldi and Diaz, yeah.
Or Maldi and Diaz, whoever. They've done fine, but they could do a lot better.
Right.
The lineup today, John, is out. Fernando Tatis Jr. leading off. Luis Ariz hitting second at first base. Manny's at third. Gavin Sheets is in left. Merrill's in center, hitting fifth. Xander's at short, Cronenworth's at second, Trent Brooks is your DH, and Elias Diaz is behind the plate.
I think is it 8 runs? Is it 9? Is
Uh,
it 11?
I was thinking more like 6 or 7.
In the first inning, or how many of the innings?
First 3 innings. Maybe they get their first grand slam tonight. That'd be nice.
They'll need base runners to do that.
That's also a problem.
Total tonight, 7.5 for the game.
They were playing better baseball before the break. Now, they weren't lighting the world on fire. They're still all close games. And the only way this team wins games nowadays, at least recently, has been, because it's a close game. They don't beat teams by more than 3 runs.
It's funny. I was just having this conversation earlier today, and the general consensus was if they had won Sunday against the Phillies, we'd be like, man, this team's red hot. But by losing against the Phillies, it was a 6-4 homestand, which is what we asked for. But it's not like setting the world on fire. It's fine. That was the expectation.
It's what they needed to do. Yeah.
And by the way, tonight we get to see James Wood again, and we get to see CJ Abrams again, and we get to see all these former Padres and Padres farmhands again.
Last time the Padres played the Nationals, James Wood had a good first game.
Yep.
And then did nothing the next 2 games.
Right. Padres took 2 of 3.
They did.
Nats won game 1. I think most people would sign up for taking 2 out of 3 right here.
So that's what I'm asking for this weekend is taking 2 of 3. I don't want to be greedy here and be like, they got to sweep the Nationals because they're a bad baseball team. Well, if you guys will look at the Padres record against teams over the last couple months, they aren't ripping off like 5, 6, 7 games in a row here. They're a below 500 team over the last 2 months.
Right. Where they have had their success, though, this year is against the teams under 500. True. That is really
they win
what has allowed them to build their 52-44 record.
So from that standpoint, yes, winning a series is what you're, at minimum asking for.
Right.
Not going in being like they have to sweep the Nationals. They don't have to sweep the Nationals, but winning a series against the Nationals, that's what the expectation is.
Man, I'm excited to get the second half underway. We'll see if Tatis finished the first half playing better. Manny's put together a good year. Merrill had the 2 home run game. Wasn't it Manny Machado that said we sucked or we played our worst baseball?
He did say that.
Yes. I mean, he was very critical of the team's play. He's like, we've played our worst baseball.
Don't listen to that, Schild.
44.
Could you imagine Schild saying something like that?
Like that we've sucked?
Yeah, like we've had stretches where we've sucked and we've played awful baseball and we're still 8 games over 500.
I might be misquoting him, but he said he was pretty harsh on the teams playing the first 96 games, and they're still 52-44. We'll see if they take off again behind second half Schild. All right, Kevin Acey is going to join us on the other side, our Padres insider. Be listening for the Superman sounder. When you hear it, open the app, search for San Diego Sports 760, click that little red mic. Oh, there it is.
Speaking of,
wow. All right, so open the iHeartRadio app, search for San Diego Sports 760, click on the red talkback mic in the top right-hand corner. Tell us your favorite superhero. If you do that within the next 5 minutes, clock is ticking, you are eligible to win 2 free badges to Comic-Con 2025. We'll announce the winner of those badges today at 5:30 p.m.
You have until 3 p.m.
On the nose.
Like on the nose. You have until 3 p.m. right now to qualify for this round to win Comic-Con badges today. It's our final pair of Comic-Con badges that we're giving away on this show. So go to the iHeartRadio app, put San Diego Sports 760 in your presets, hit the talkback mic, tell us your favorite superhero, and then you're qualified to win.
Kevin Acey, our Padres insider from our nation's capital to kick off hour 2 of John and Jim. That's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres start the second half and a 10-game road trip starting tonight in Washington, D.C., where Dylan Cease will get the ball to start for the Padres, and SDFC takes on Vancouver tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium, 7:30 kickoff time, 7 p.m. pregame. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. How many times have we all said that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back. It's got everyone saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos, plus quality products delivered next day to over 98% of U.S. Staples. That was easy.
All right, hour 2 of John and Jim as the Padres get ready to begin their second half in D.C. against the Washington Nationals. Great to have our Padres insider Kevin Acee back with us, who had a really interesting. Here's the most interesting note of the day, Kevin. With all due respect, it was the note you sent me, which is you're going to talk to John and Jim 6 different times on your road trip.
That's too much.
That's ridiculous. You're on the road for 2 consecutive weeks. What did you pack? Like, did you pack 10 bags, or what are you doing? Laundry? How do you do this?
Yeah, you do a carry-on, and I will, because there are 12 games I will have to attend. I brought 10 shirts, 3 pairs of pants. The pants will last. You have to launder the 2 of the shirts because you got to repeat. The 2 shirts you wore for the All-Star Game festivities will be the last 2 shirts you wear on the trip. That's how you do it.
This is fascinating.
Wow. I always feel like are you the packer, Kevin, that like feels like you overpack, or do you pack just enough? Like no. what kind of packer are you?
You couldn't do that if you were me. You couldn't do that if you were me, which I think everyone at some point is, right? But then you learn there's no way I'm checking a bag. I don't care if it's Smart. A month long. Yeah. I don't care. No way I'm checking a bag. So yeah, 2 weeks with a carry-on. That's,
it's doable.
Yeah, Jim's like,
it's impressive, but it is.
Right. Jim's like, should I bring this lamp or not? I guess I'll leave the lamp at home for this trip.
I'm like, how many pairs of shoes should I bring?
Exactly. All right. Kevin Acee is with us from D.C. The second half about to get underway within the hour. Let's start with Dylan Cease, Kevin. I mean, when you look at his road struggles, it's been a struggle of a year, but it's even worse when you look at what he's done on the road. I know he had that bad Sacramento start, but 0-6 with a 6.27 ERA on the road. I've asked you about it before, but I mean, I guess it's as simple as this, right? He's just got to be, he doesn't have to be better in the second half. He's got to look like the Dylan Cease we saw last year in the second half, doesn't he?
Yeah, like not better than he should be, right? Like he needs to be better, but not better than he should be, or better than he has been. Absolutely, man. I like to downplay those stats, but that obviously is a pretty big one when you're up above a 6. And obviously the disparity was even worse before the last start at home, right?
Yep.
So like there is, I don't know if there's something to it. Like it seems there is, but like he really hasn't been great anyway. And Petco is a nice place to pitch, no matter what they say, like about it becoming more fair. It's a nice place to pitch, fly balls that die and all that. So look, the bottom line, as you guys, as all of us, have spent way too much time talking about, though it's the appropriate amount of time, but way too much time in that, what are we doing? Talking about Dylan Cease sucking. That's not good, man. Like who's he going against tonight? Soraka?
Yep.
Like, we got a 5.35, I think. And you look at that, and not all of us follow the Washington Nationals, and we don't know. We're like, oh, hey, let's look it up. Okay. And you're like, man, that's not very good. Well, what do you think people that don't follow baseball are doing very much and look and they say this Dylan Cease character, 4.88. It's like, no, that's Dylan Cease, who's like borderline Cy Young 2 of the last 3 years, who has a 4.88. It's like he's some journeyman right now.
Yeah, he finished 4th last year in Cy Young voting in the National League. What do you make of Elias Diaz catching him tonight instead of Martin Maldonado? Anything to that that you see?
I honestly hadn't even caught it by the time I talked to Mike Schilt. I don't know what that. I mean, I was kicking myself because it's interesting because Martin Maldonado is still here.
Right.
Now, I from my understanding of how this is shaping out, because I think we've all understood that Mike Schilt is a big Martin Maldonado guy, and that's why Martin Maldonado's here. But like that Martin Maldonado, we all can look at and go, well, what good is he doing if Dylan Cease, he's Dylan Cease's personal catcher, and Dylan Cease is having 4.88 ERA. Well, I think you do have to give Martin Maldonado, at least, or you have to want to believe that it's valid to give Martin Maldonado some credit for some of the younger guys that he's caught and helping, whether he's catching them or not, in the preparation for Berger, who he is catching for. And let's see, Colic is Diaz, and I think Vasquez is Diaz. No, he's Maldonado. So, like, you have to think about it like those guys navigating with Campusano, and maybe what we know about Campusano's kind of getting lost in games, maybe his attention span, not having the experience Maldonado does, not having the presence Maldonado does. I'm not trying to rip Campusano. I'm just throwing it out there like it is. That Silt is giving a lot of credit to that. But I am surprised, and I will find out later why this move was made.
Kevin Acey's our Padres insider. He's in D.C. Padres and Nationals coming up within the hour. So you wrote something today that is not a surprise to me or Jim or our listeners, but maybe was a surprise to some people that just read it in the paper but haven't been listening to our conversations. You said this repeatedly, and you wrote this. They don't have a lot of money to commit, nor do they have a lot of prospects or young major leaguers to trade. This is something that we've talked about for weeks on end. I mean, again, Preller remains the wild card, but from your seat 2 weeks out, your expectations are to kind of temper the expectations for the fan base for 2 weeks from now?
Yes, only trying to be realistic that, not every move that's made works out. As a matter of fact, most of them don't. Now, I think we talked about this Wednesday, the idea that they are buyers and sellers, right? And my understanding is that that's a real, if not likelihood, it's a strong possibility that they are going to rely basically on the creativity of AJ Preller, right? Like that he can get something done and he can go out and spend a little money, but he's got to do it with the prospects he has. And it's not like we've got $8 million extra for this guy to spend, is my understanding at this point. So, like, does that mean, and I have not heard names, but does that mean unloading an Arise? I don't think a Suarez at all. But what does that mean? Is that trading? Everybody wants Cronenworth. I mean, because here's why. If Cronenworth is this player that he's been here to this year, probably his most consistent season, and has shown that he can be and has been for times, that contract is really good. That's a really good contract. And they could probably get a decent haul for him. Now that would break my heart, obviously. I'm not saying that's I'm just throwing this out there as like those names, just as, okay, if people are telling you that they could be sellers in order to facilitate being buyers, who is it that makes sense? So there's some fodder for you guys to make up your own scenarios over the next few days.
A couple of weeks ago, after the latest Dylan Cease bad start, it was, to me, I thought they could do that what you're talking about, like a buy and a sell. Is Cease's name a name that they could use as a sell to buy type of thing if he's not going to turn it around in the next couple starts here, and he's going to leave in free agency? Or do they just feel like, what, we need as much pitching as possible, even if Cease is having a bad year, he can still just give us innings?
I could be caught flat-footed on this, like I was on your question about Elias Diaz, but I'm not really giving that much consideration, because one thing he's doing is giving you 5 2/3 innings on average. Like, what are you going to do without that?
Right.
It's like, that's why I want to give and believe that people are telling me that you give Maldonado credit for nurturing some of these younger guys, the pitchers. What are you doing if Stephen Kolick hasn't done what he's done, and Randy Vasquez hasn't done what he's done, and Ryan Berger hasn't done what he's done? Like, the tenuous nature of the rotation, I just don't see how you unload Dylan Cease.
Kevin Acey's
the rest of it, Jim, is valid. Like, in terms of what you could save, what you could move. Maybe someone thinks they could do something. But I don't see, because you need to replace those innings.
Right, exactly.
That makes sense. Kevin's with us from DC, our Padres insider. What did you make of Manny Machado? And I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me, but he essentially said we've played our worst baseball, and we're 52 and 44, and our best baseball is in front of us. I mean, it's easy to say that, but are there indicators to believe that what played out last year, for example, the second half, where they just took off like wildfire. I mean, isn't it too easy to just say, well, they did it last year, so they're going to do it again?
You have to squint pretty hard. I thought it was going to be a little more obvious. I really did, based on the fact that they went 6-4 in this homestand, which I thought was really good. Based on the fact they hit a few more home runs, at least for them, right?
Yep.
And then I went and tried to break down the stats every which way to be able to statistically back up. Hey, it looks like they're hot going into the. No. No. So you got to squint really hard to say, hey, look, there's some signs. But again, winning record in July, took 2 or 3 from the Phillies, faced probably their best pitching during this homestand that they have in a while. And actually, I shouldn't say the best pitching, but they did as well as they have against good pitching in a while. So these are things that I do think that there were better at bats. And I do think they played better offensively, but I got nothing for you. And I was almost late to dinner. That's how dedicated I am. I was late to dinner yesterday, searching and searching for some sort of statistical evidence that this team's just about to take off, and it's not there. And, it was there last year at this time.
Sorry, I was late. I was looking up numbers on the Padres batting average with one out and runners in scoring position and runners on third base for this team the last week. My bad. So 66 games remaining, Kevin. To get to 90 wins, they need to go 38-28. Do you feel like that's feasible? What's in your mind a number that they need to get to feel comfortable to make the postseason?
Comfortable. Well, comfortable, I think, is probably 90 wins, right? It's hard for me to believe it doesn't shake out that way. Whatever, I haven't even looked, because I think last year people were trending to have, better records than what ended up getting you in, which is 89, I think, 89 wins. Look, 86 has got to, I only go back 3 years because, that's when the playoff format changed, they expanded. So 86 has gotten the team in. 84 got the Diamondbacks in. You don't know what's going to happen after the deadline, maybe, and you see who kind of gave up. Maybe you have a better idea. But there's, 90 to be comfortable. I was thinking, what do they have to do? So they're 8 over now. That doesn't do it. Does 12 over do it? I don't know if the 12 over does it. So, yeah, I like that. 38. I don't know that 90's necessary, but to feel comfortable, 90, sure.
Is there any update on Michael King? What's possible here? Some point in August remains realistic?
Yes, some point in August is still the idea. I have not been able to 100% confirm what's been happening with the baby. Now he's back in San Diego and will be for the whole trip, but that was always the plan. There was an announcement by the team about Sheets' baby, and I have not been able to get a hold of anybody who knows anything about what's going on with Michael there. But he is back home. His wife was to be induced during the break, and that's where he's at. And look, he can get just as much done there for the most part as he could here in terms of getting built back up. It's like he's going through a kind of a accelerated spring training right now.
That makes sense. All right. Well, a lot going on. Second half gets underway within the next 30 or 40 minutes from DC. 10 on the road for the Padres and just 13 days out from the trade deadline. Travel safe, Kevin. We'll do it Monday from where? Miami? We're going to talk to you from 5 states, right? You were at Dallas-Fort Worth. Yeah. You were in Georgia. You were in DC. That's not even a state.
Kevin will be on his, I believe, 6th shirt on Monday.
So 4 states and a district.
Jim, did you realize DC isn't a state?
Bro, you know me. I can't. I don't know anything.
Yeah, okay. So he didn't realize that. Kevin, safe travels. We'll catch up from South Florida.
Right on. Take care, guys.
All right, great stuff. Kevin Hayes here, Padres Insider. We'll hear from Mike Schilt, his pregame comments with the media on the other side. You'll hear from Ken Rosenthal at 3:30. Don't go anywhere. Comic-Con badges. We're giving those away. It's Sean and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. All right, AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress, whomever that might be, you go online, look at your district, to pass legislation now, keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates apply. You can ask ChatGPT, formulate an email for me for my local congressman. All you have to do is text 52886 AM to 52886, but you could also write a letter. I like AM radio because it's basically the reason it's like my job to be on AM radio.
It is your job.
It is.
So one thing Kevin said there that definitely got both of our attentions was the whole buying and selling at the deadline, and the names that he mentioned. It's not names that he thinks will get traded. He's just doing a process of elimination of guys that if they were to sell at the deadline, who could you sell that would free up some money. And the names that he brought up, not Luis Campusano, he's on my brain for some stupid reason still. Jake Cronenworth and Luis Arise, like, huh? I understand it because if you clear off the rest of Jake's contract, Luis Arise, you're not bringing back next year, most likely. You don't want to trade any pitching. So what else can you trade at the major league level to free up some money?
Yeah, like what if I told you I don't hate the idea at all? I'm not a big
fan
of
Jake
of considering trading either of them. Considering trading either of them, depending on what you're trying to do.
So wait, you said you don't.
I'm in favor of considering trading either of them.
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's not like you're saying you're not.
No, I'm in favor of at least considering it. And you say, well, how could you do that? Jake Cronenworth is under contract through 2030. And again, the contract's reasonable. I agree with you. It's not some crazy amount. It gives you good production. He's had a good year. He has. I completely agree with that. But you're kind of selling high. And you're getting out from underneath some money that might tie you down at some point. Like, is his productivity as a 36-year-old going to provide value for you? No. The answer is no. And then with Luis Arise, I like Luis Arise, but he's had a down year and he's gone in 2 months anyway. So you're kind of, betting on your return as opposed to what you have right now. 2 left-handed batters, right? So you get maybe a little bit more flexibility with your lineup as well. You're not trading both of them. I mean, I don't even know if they would trade one of them. But am I taking calls? I'm taking calls, man. AJ Preller, I'm taking calls. I have no problem taking calls. I'm not a big believer in selling and buying at the same time. I think that's too much shaking up of a clubhouse. I think things can go haywire by doing that. But I understand it. If they're up against it financially and they don't have prospects in their system, if you're up against it financially and you don't have prospects in your system, how can you rid yourself of those problems, free up money at the major league level, and trade major leaguers?
All right, so let's talk this through.
Okay.
Hypothetical. They do trade Jake Cronenworth.
Yeah.
Hypothetical. They trade for Jarren Duran. They trade for Luis Robert Jr. and maybe a pitcher.
Right. You're still going to have your infield.
So your infield, what would your infield look like now?
Well, you're going to include Jose Iglesias in it, in that scenario, which isn't ideal. Right?
Yeah. Or, I mean, your defense would be worse off, but the positions would work. Gavin Sheets at first and Arise back at second.
Sure.
Defensively, not as good, but the positions work. And then Jarren Duran's your left fielder now, and then Luis Robert Jr. is your DH.
Yeah, I mean, do I think it would be popular trading Jake Cronenworth?
It would not be
but
popular.
It's not a popularity contest. What they're trying to do, is win. Jake Cronenworth has had a good year. Mm-hmm. Is his production replaceable?
Yeah, it is. But by who though?
But does this then give you the financial flexibility to add money like Sean Murphy or Luis Robert or Jarren Duran long term? Not right now, but his future years as he's arbitration eligible. The answer to that is yes. So that's what you're not saying. Hey, are we better without Jake Cronenworth? I'm not saying that. It's an equation. Equal X equals what? If you eliminate Jake Cronenworth, where do you get the productivity on the other side? Is it Jarren Duran? Is it Duran plus Iglesias? Is it Sean Murphy plus? That's the question you're asking yourself. It's not about, hey, Jake Cronenworth isn't good, get rid of him. That's not it at all. It's, can you make your roster better and can you free up payroll to make your roster better. And I'm not saying it's Cronenworth. It might be Arise for 2 months, Jim. He makes good. Luis Arise is making good money right now.
Yeah.
You'd be freeing up $4 or $5 million.
Yeah, it would not be a popular move for if that were to happen. Fan base would obviously not like it.
Depends on what they get back.
And it also depends if they win.
Yep.
If they win, it's easy to just be like, okay, well, look what we did and it worked out. But if it didn't work out, then it's like a double whammy. You trade Jake Cronenworth, who, is somewhat of a fan favorite.
Absolutely.
And he's done some really nice things here. I mean, he'll be remembered unless he tops it for the big hit against the Dodgers in the NLDS.
2 All-Star nods.
Yep. Couple All-Stars. Yep. And,
been an everyday player for years now.
Yeah. He's been coined the Crone Zone.
Absolutely. Good defensive player.
Very good defensive player.
Good teammate. I mean, he's done what has been asked of him.
I never even thought Jake Cronenworth's an option.
And I don't even know if I do or you do or Kevin does or anyone does, but it's at least something to consider, because how do you do what they're trying to do?
Well, when you go through all the scenarios and you're looking at how you can do this and how they could trade this, and you're just talking things out, eventually you're going to get to, well, if they trade Jake Cronenworth.
Right. You talk it out.
Yeah. And that's where we are at now. After that conversation with Kevin, by him bringing it up, it's like, well, you don't have much money, but hey, if they traded Jake Cronenworth, you free up some money there, and then you can go out and make a trade for this, and like maybe you get something back for Jake, and who knows? But man, that'd be a bold move.
Be bold
to go buy and sell at the deadline. I said it, while you were gone. It wouldn't hurt to throw Cease's name out there just to see what you could get for him on the market, because he's not returning anyway for you, and he's not really helping you a bunch because he's sucking up the joint every time that he's going out there. But I do agree from the standpoint, like, you need innings. Who you're placing that innings with? At least if Dylan Cease, if anything, he's giving you innings this year.
Yeah, and it's not like they're not already dealing with major pitching questions.
Oh yeah, they are.
Darvish's second half, Michael King's second half, Joe Musgrove out for the year. You're relying on young pitchers. Yeah, again, I think it's an interesting conversation. Nobody's saying Jake Cronenworth is going anywhere, but I mean, there's no way he's like completely off limits when it comes to a conversation, even if you're AJ Preller. Let's hear from Ken Rosenthal on the other side and Mike Schilt. Do we know how long Mike Schilt speaks with the media?
5 minutes.
Okay, so we can hear from both. We'll hear from Schilte. We'll hear from Ken Rosenthal on the Padres at the trade deadline as well. We're giving away Comic-Con badges. Be listening for that. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is brought to you by the Jim Petrell Real Estate Team. Padres and Washington start a 3-game series starting later this afternoon. 3:45 first pitch. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres to open up their second half. And tomorrow, SDFC takes on Vancouver at Snapdragon Stadium. 7:30 kickoff time. 7 p.m. pregame. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
All right, John and Jim, let's hear from Mike Schill. We're also going to hear from Ken Rosenthal on the Padres at the deadline, but Padres are going to get their second half underway in the next 20 or so minutes, and Mike Schill has spoken with the media. Where's this start, Brent?
The importance of the All-Star break to get guys rest.
Okay.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, listen, these guys go hard, and like you mentioned, it's the physical toll of it. They're athletes, we're used to the physicality of it, but it's every day. But also the mental, emotional, investment that takes place to do this thing and do it well. So it's good to have a little break from it, but it's also really good to get back.
Yeah, how fun was it to see 5 representatives from the Padres all getting a chance to participate?
Really cool, and all well deserved, obviously. It's a good chance to watch them play, and but now it's time to get the team together.
Yeah, second half. What are the expectations? You guys had the best second half in all of Major League Baseball last year, and you actually have quite a history of putting together pretty good second halves here in your managing career.
Expectation is always be better. Get better as the game, series, season goes, and it's a continual improvement mindset. And we do it together and always look for ways we can improve. And it's about winning series and putting good baseball consistently together in all aspects of the game.
Given the history that you've had of having strong second halves for your ball, is there something unique you think that you do that kind of helps that happen?
No, basically what I just described is a big part of it. I don't think there's any secret sauce to any of it. It's just, every day we get experience, and every day everybody in the clubhouse, myself, staff, players, we all get experiences, and ultimately how you grow is what you do with your experiences, how you learn and grow from other people's experiences, and just always continue to try to be intentional about what that looks like, and making sure people are looking at what took place and how we learn from it, how we grow from it. We do that. It's the best. You can get the most out of what you have, and that's all you can do.
It seemed like there were several players that were starting to hit their stride heading into the break. Jackson Merrill was starting to get some results from his efforts. Fernando was swinging well. Xander's been swinging the bat lately as well. Your thoughts on the momentum that might be brought into the second half, especially by some of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, they're good players. All these guys you mentioned, a couple All-Stars in there, and Jackson All-Star game last year. Bogey's got 5 Silver Sluggers. Toddy, just went to his 3rd All-Star game, and they're good players, and them getting their rhythm, consistently, and then going together is really important too.
How different is it? I mean, there's still 66 games left to come out of the break, and it kind of goes more from marathon to sprint. The end's in sight. Is there a difference?
Yeah, I think so. I still take the marathon sprint's a good analogy. It's something that I think about every day. We're sprinting every day in a marathon world, but also smart about knowing it's a big, long season and parceling things out appropriately. But yeah, you're in the you're going to look up at the end of this road trip, and you're going to be 2/3 of the way through the season, and now it's time to go. But ultimately, it's time to go every day. But it's a finite end of the season, and we're gaining on it.
Someone asked you about David Morgan, right? Talks about David Morgan, how important he is. Man, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Aggressive, trust. This guy's got good arm. There's good arms all throughout baseball. Clearly in the big leagues, but you go to a minor league game, or you get in player development, or you go see an instructional league, and you're gonna see arms everywhere, but this guy has 2 real good qualities that complement his arm, and he's got a good breaking ball, but the 2 things are, he's not gonna back down. He's going to trust what he does, and regardless of the environment, and he's going to do it in the strike zone. And that's a big difference between, the separator between getting to be a big league pitcher and staying and being consistent and contributing, and guys that have good arms that can't get those outs in the strike zone, because more or less that's where they take place.
Do you have any updates on Michael King or on Musgrove?
So Michael's back in San Diego, doing well in a really good spot, and is starting to play again, aggressive catch, bullpens, starting to get a calendar that he's following with his progression that is leading him back to more, facing hitter type thing. And it's going to be, a little period of time we'll announce when that'll happen, but he's in a good trajectory for that. Joe's here, had a good aggressive catch off the mound today. And I wouldn't say it's a bullpen, but let him speak to it, but also in a good spot and recovering well. And everything's trending in a good spot relative to staying on the plan and then moving the plan forward. His aggression and, his catch play has been really good overall.
Mike going to stay in San Diego the whole trip?
More than likely, yes. Yeah.
Tatis, you're my favorite player. Sign my bets. Hey, Xander, you're my favorite player. Sign my ball.
That's what your takeaway is from that.
Well, you heard the kids in the background trying to get autographs from Padres players.
Yep. You think that's what they were doing?
Yes, that's what they were doing.
I'm pretty sure too.
Pretty sure. What was your takeaway from that thrilling Mike Schill pregame presser?
That they need Dylan Cease to look like Dylan Cease. Simple as that.
Yep.
That's my takeaway. They need Dylan Cease, and that starts tonight because there's a lot of people that are questioning whether Dylan Cease can be that guy, and the questions are only going to intensify if he's not that guy tonight against this very average, below average Washington team, right? With the extra rest, starts now. He's only going to make another like 12 or 13 starts, so it's got to start now for Dylan Cease, not like a month and a half from now.
Schulte had his game face on today.
He was serious.
He didn't even go down the path of the softball question that's always thrown up to him about his team. This one in particular about seeing 5 Padres in the All-Star game. It was a very short answer.
I really need Mike Schill to break down the swing off. I needed him to talk about the swingy.
The swingy?
The swingy offie or whatever you would have called it.
The swingy offie?
All right. So Schill didn't say anything. Let's see if Ken Rosenthal says anything. Ken Rosenthal today was talking about the Padres and the upcoming trade deadline. So let's hear from Ken Rosenthal and react.
The other team that we have to watch because AJ Preller is so creative and aggressive always is San Diego. And I don't know that they're going to go crazy and their system is not what it once was. And we don't know how much payroll flexibility they have, but they have a clear need in left field. They could certainly use another reliever because as good as their bullpen is with 3 All-Stars and Estrada could have been an All-Star, those guys are all up near the league lead in appearances. And then a starting pitcher as well would be something that would behoove them, a controllable starter, ideally with Cease and King both eligible for free agency.
Okay, so that actually goes down the path of what Kevin was saying, which is they got to be creative. Right? Because the money might not be unlimited. Their prospect capital isn't maybe what it used to be. And they have multiple needs. Like we spent so much time catcher, outfielder, but maybe they do need to add an arm in their bullpen. Maybe they do need to add depth in their rotation. But he's basically putting it kind of in AJ Preller's hands to be creative, to figure it out, and he expects him to be aggressive as a result.
The start of today's show in our chat, James had a good comment talking about like the Padres wish list compared to how much money they have, right? Or lack thereof.
Right.
And I'm trying to pull it up here. Yeah. He said, I need $500 worth of groceries on a $50 budget. Good luck. Kind of something like that's what it feels like the closer we get to the deadline. They have a giant wish list, but they only have like $100 to get everything that they need. And they're going to have to be creative. They're going to have to find food stamps. They're going to have to, potentially, have a yard sale to trade some things off to go buy what they need at the grocery store.
Yeah.
And right now, if you're looking for a general manager in baseball that needs to, hey, I need someone that can be very, very creative. I think AJ Preller might be one of the very first GMs that you would choose to be very, very creative at the deadline. And so in that sense, you feel like he can maybe pull this off, like get what he's looking for and get, what the team needs at the deadline, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly going to try. I mean, do I think that when the deadline passes, the Padres will have made the splashiest moves in the sport? Probably not. Do I think they'll make moves to upgrade their roster? Yeah, I do. To what extent remains to be seen. You can't get enamored by, that's the word of the week. You can't get enamored by what LA does. You can't get enamored by what happens around baseball. There'll be moves. There will be like an earth-shattering move or two with a starting pitcher or a bat. If you're involved in that, great. And if you're not, so what? You improve your roster. It's not like they're so far behind that it's inconceivable to see them in the postseason against the Dodgers. Like they're not. I mean, they're 5.5 games back or whatever in the division. They could lock horns again in the postseason. They're not going to be favored no matter what move they make at the deadline. I think the Padres are favored in a series against the Dodgers. If they're fortunate enough to be in that spot again this year, they're not going to be. So you got to improve your team. You got to know the Dodgers have no handcuffs, right? There's certain teams that have nothing that will hold them back this deadline. That's not really my concern. My concern is what can the Padres do to get better? And that's got to be AJ Preller's concern.
Yeah, when the Dodgers trade for Stephen Kwan and Emmanuel Clase from Cleveland,
I pretend not to see it. Right?
It's hard not to see that, though.
But if you're I mean, listen, I pretended not to see Ohtani to the Dodgers. I pretended not to see Glass.
Yeah, and how'd that work out? The Dodgers won the World Series last year.
But we often say we can't compare the Padres moves to the Dodgers moves in offseason.
It just makes it that much harder to get past that team.
Or even like Roki this past offseason. We pretended like that alone was kind of a...
Yeah, good job, Roki. You went to the team with the worst possible pitching plan ever.
True, but remains the favorite right now in Vegas to win the World Series.
Of course they do.
In 2025.
Why wouldn't they?
More on this on the other side as the Padres get underway in the second half against the Nationals. We've got the wrap coming up. If you missed Chris Vanini from The Athletic, he was with us yesterday from Las Vegas. Good insight on everything playing out in college football, including with the Mountain West and the Pac-12 and San Diego State. You'll hear that coming up at 4:30. We're here until 6. We have Comic-Con badges to give away. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, listen to this, Jim. Listen to this
What do
for
you
a
got?
T-shirt idea. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I have something creative that I've been thinking about.
Tell me.
Okay, so you know how the Padres back end of the bullpen, like you could argue that they've been very good.
Yeah.
And there's four guys have really led the way. And I'm thinking maybe something like 4 horsemen for the name.
Yeah.
Then what do you think if we put it on a T-shirt? So the 4 horsemen.
Oh, that'd be a good
maybe give
idea.
it a City Connect combination. Maybe put them on horses and have the back of their jerseys and sell it at Breaking Tea.
Wow.
You like that idea?
I do like that idea.
Can we talk about that for 1 second? Because Schilt referenced the back end of his bullpen as the 4 horsemen last week. You were off Friday.
I was, yeah.
And I was away. And then we did all these shows this week. I don't know what we've talked about for the last 4 days.
It's been a week.
It's been a week. Schilt referenced the 4 horsemen. Now, you specifically did reference the Padres relievers as the 4 horsemen like 2 months ago. I remember because I made fun of you that night.
It was
you know the exact timestamp?
January, February, March, April. It was May 5th.
May 5th, Cinco de May, or whatever.
Cinco de May.
So here's my question: Are you claiming? This is what I want to know right now, live on the air. Are you claiming to have come up with the term during that wrap-up show on Cinco de May, or did you get that elsewhere, or was that your brainchild that's now being made money? I mean, is this your NIL? Are you going to sue Breaking Tea?
Look, I mean, at the time when I said it, I didn't hear it anywhere else.
Okay.
I think there was a podcast out there that's claiming that they came up with it first, but I mean, let's be real. I've been listening to that podcast one time. I didn't even know it existed, to be honest with you. But
yeah, that's always ridiculous. Like, well, we said it.
I got tagged into something saying like, "Oh, didn't Jim say this first?" And then they tried some snippy remark like, "Oh, he steals everything from us." I'm like, guys, I've never listened to your podcast one time. Like, I don't even know you guys existed.
I remember the night specifically, and it was off the cuff.
Yeah,
you weren't like, let me reference my notes from what I listened to. No, you were like the 4 horsemen. I was like, wait, what did you say?
Yeah, and by the way, it's not some like out of this world nickname that I brought up. Like it's a biblical reference. It's
wrestling,
it's comics.
Really good. Like, after you said it, the bullpen nosedived. Remember how bad they were in May?
Yeah,
that was their one bad month,
right?
Where they were like leaking everywhere.
Yep.
But from that point, I mean, there's bullpen. It's been awesome. By and large, this bullpen has been awesome.
It's the strength of the team. It's the strongest
part of
their team.
It's truly their identity, because if they don't need to score a lot of runs, because you feel good with a 2-1 lead once you go to the back, of your bullpen.
Because right now, opposing teams are thinking to themselves, we have to make sure that we have a lead
after 5.
If we're trailing after 5 here,
you're in trouble.
That's going to be hard for us, because then they go to Estrada, Morejon, Adam, and Suarez.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I do think that is the strength of the team. Now, I think in the second half of the year, is there going to be a point in the second half of the year where it looks like 2024 offensively? We say, wow, Merrill looks like Merrill, and Tatis has been Tatis, and they got Machado, who's been the anchor of this team all year long. Are we going to get that? It's like we talk about sometimes in basketball. I've referenced this before. We're like, man, the Warriors, for the most part, didn't have like the year where like KD and Steph and Draymond and Clay, they weren't healthy, so we couldn't get them all on the floor together. Like, are we going to see production out of this top of the lineup that carries the way like we saw the first 17 games of the season, for example?
Realistically, they just need like a 2-week stretch where offensively they look like they did at the beginning of the year.
That's exactly right.
And then that will carry them the rest of the way.
Yeah, like go 10-4.
Their 14-3 start to the season has carried them to the All-Star break.
Great point. Yeah, I know. It's a long time. You're right.
So going 38-28 in the next 66 games of your season, the remainder of your games of this season, to get to 90 wins, they've had a 38-28 stretch this year. But that's because they went 14-3 to start their season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a 14-3 stretch is in them for this season.
It's hard for any team, right? It's hard to forecast that.
The only time that I would forecast that would be at the end of the year when the schedule really softens up for them.
Yeah, you're right. Well, that would be the best time to do it. I mean, if you told me right now, their last 17 games look anything like that.
But they started out hot and then they kind of, stumbled a bit.
Oh yeah. No, I agree.
So,
no, you're right though. They only need, I guess my point is those first 10 games, and it's beyond that, 17 games, but those first 10 games when Merrill was healthy, like they looked, their offense was elite. It was awesome. Tatis was going. His April was awesome.
Manny's been consistent all year.
Yeah, Merrill's April was
the only guy that
terrific.
was not hitting was Luis Arraez.
Exactly. I'm confident that at some point in those 66 games, this offense looks better. I just don't know how much better. I mean, it's not going to look worse. Their offense has been among the worst in the sport.
Could look worse.
Went through.
It always can get worse, John.
Yeah, but offensively, I
it
don't know.
always can get worse.
Yeah, offensively, it's been pretty bad.
It's been bad, but it always can get worse.
Yeah, maybe. Potentially. I hope not, because I think they do address offense at the deadline. Preller said it publicly, MLB Network Radio. Everyone that covers this team is saying it. So I hope it gets better, but you're right. You're right. I mean, I remember last year at the All-Star break what we were talking about. We were very concerned. And I remember the first game after the All-Star break when they were embarrassed in Cleveland, showed no life and fell to 50-50. There was a lot of concern with the fan base at that point. I don't think a lot of people were confident that was a playoff team. I mean, there were people laughing at Mike Schill. I'm fully confident in this team. I'm like, what?
So
I haven't seen it.
The start of their season where they started up 15-4. I think that might have been their
14-3 is their highest winning percentage.
Okay, 14-3, but they did at one point.
They were then 1-1 for their next two games.
Yeah. So listen to the run total in their wins. Okay. Start of the season. 7-4. Now they won 1-0 on a Saturday against Atlanta.
Yeah, I remember that.
5 runs, 7 runs, 7 runs, 5 runs, 8 runs, 5 runs, 8 runs, 6 runs, 10 runs, 4 runs.
Yeah,
they're putting up runs. Okay. This team has not had that type of production offensively in a good minute
since the middle of April or whenever that was.
And this is their last week. Listen to this. All right. In Philadelphia, they did score 6 runs to win in their first game of the doubleheader. After that, 3 runs, 4 runs, 1 run, 4 runs, 4 runs. They'd score 5 runs on Saturday. They won 5-4. But they're not putting up 7, 6, 10, 8, 5,
they
4.
Almost don't even need it. If they score 4, Jim, consistently in the second half, they'll go 38-28.
Were you?
That's the breaking point.
Were you here when I broke down how many runs they would need to average for the remainder of the season to equal their run total of last year?
No.
Oh, you weren't?
No, and I don't trust the math, but I want to hear it.
It came out to be about they need to average 5.5 runs per game for the rest of the season to get to last year's run total.
Yeah, they won't do that.
I'm just saying, if you added it up, and I'm pretty sure I did the math right, and it makes sense, they would need to average about 5.5 runs per game.
Look at it this way. I think if you average 4.5 runs per game, you'll feel good because of what we started this segment with, which is the strength of this team, which is their bullpen. Teams that score 3 runs or less lose. Teams that score 4 runs or more win. That's the breaking point.
Yeah.
Get to 4 consistently. They did it more in the last week. They went 6-4 over that 10-game stretch. But get to 4 runs. I think we're probably asking for too much right now to be expecting the 7 runs and the 8 runs consistently at least. They're going to score 7 runs in a game. But are they consistently going to do what they did the first 2 weeks of the year? I don't know.
When's the last time they scored 7 runs in a game, John?
It was this year.
The last time they scored 7 runs in a game was on June 15th. They won 8-2 over Arizona.
So over a month ago.
That was the last time.
Are you sure?
Yep. They've had a couple of games where they scored 6 runs.
Right. But haven't scored 7 or more in a month.
Have not scored 7 or more in a month.
Maybe tonight's the night.
Oh, tonight is definitely the night.
All right. On the other side, we're going to get to the wrap. We're giving away Comic-Con badges here today. We'll announce that grand prize winner coming up at 5:30. Chris Vanini from The Athletic. You'll hear that conversation at 4:30. If you missed our Padres Insider, Kevin Acee will have that for you at 5 p.m. We are here until 6 today. Stay with us, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update's brought to you by Cal Fire. Padres Nationals underway in D.C. Scoreless in the top of the second inning there. And SDFC takes on Vancouver tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium, a battle of the top two teams in the Western Conference. 7:30 kickoff time. 7 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. Help prevent wildfire. Mow before 10 a.m. Keep vehicle chains from dragging on the ground and never park on dry grass. Remember, one less spark means one less wildfire. Learn more at readyforwildfire.org.
It's John and Jim to warm up that drive home.
To get far, you need the Kings and the Ceases. You're not going to run away from Dylan Cease and Michael King's, dealing with injuries. You're not going to go anywhere if you don't have effectiveness or health out of those players.
We said that last year, and Dylan Cease stunk it up in the postseason, and look what happened. They got bounced in the division round. Now again.
Now, time for John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of John and Jim. If you missed Chris Vanini from The Athletic, who joined us from Mountain West Media Days in Vegas yesterday, you're going to hear that conversation coming up at 4:30 today. Then our Padres insider, Kevin Acee, at 5 p.m. We're here until 6. We're keeping you updated on Padres and Nationals. The second half of the season is underway from what I would assume would be a warm Washington, D.C. I haven't looked, but it's always humid in the summer in D.C., but that game is underway. We'll keep you updated. We'll hear from Kevin Acee again in 1 hour. And Chris Vanini from The Athletic. Really, it was kind of an interesting couple of days, wasn't it, Jim? And we'll get to the wrap in a moment. But we were in the center of it all in Vegas. Everyone's talking about 5 schools departing for the Pac-12 and how contentious it is and how weird it is. And we're just doing radio shows. We're right in the middle. There's 25 radio shows. We're right in the middle. We're talking about it all. Did you think it was odd? I didn't think it was overly odd, but you could tell it was maybe a little different than normal.
I didn't feel anything differently.
You didn't?
No. Because the people that were in the room weren't the people that were making the decisions to leave the Pac-12.
That's a good point.
All the coaches and the players, they had nothing to do with leaving the conference. Now, I'm sure all the coaches and players like that they're going to a Pac-12 and creating a new conference that's, theoretically better than Mountain West and better TV deal potentially, and, a better opportunity to get to the college football playoff every single year. But is Trey White going to be here next year? No, probably not.
Right. You're saying the way college athletics work. You're right. I mean, seniors move on, or the transfer portal, or the draft, or there's so much that you're right. So much changes. It doesn't really impact. You're right. It doesn't really impact the teams as much. It's more like fan bases, right? It doesn't. You're right. It's a good point. But if you miss
athletic directors,
presidents,
fan bases that care about that stuff. But it's the coaches, they didn't.
No, they didn't make.
They were like, "Hey, Gloria, by the way, we want to be out next year." It wasn't their call.
Right, exactly. All right, Chris Vanini from The Athletic, if you missed it, coming up at 4:30. But right now, let's get to this.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
How many majors will Scotty Scheffler win in his career?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many majors will Scotty Scheffler win this career?
How many does he have right now? 3?
I think he has 3, but he could have 4 in 2 days.
He's leading the Open Championship right now, 10 under par. Matt Fitzpatrick's 9 under par. I'm going to go with between 7 and 10.
Yes, 3.
I'm going to go between 7 and 10. I'll say he wins. Say he wins 8.
Take the over on 8.
Okay.
Take the over on 8. So he has 29.
5 more in about 10 years or so.
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's 1 every 2 years. That's exactly right.
Okay.
So I do think that's realistic. I mean, you've been seeing this guy's tune for a long time. He's played unbelievable golf since 2022.
He's the best golfer in the world. I'm not going to say he's Tiger-like on the, as far as the fear that Tiger put into players when they look on the leaderboard and they go, "Oh, Tiger's making a run today."
This guy's always at the top.
But he's always there. It's just hard for him to play bad golf because his game is just so solid.
Right.
How do you? He can't play bad golf. He just physically can't because he is just that solid of a golfer.
He's going to shoot 20 under at the Open Championship and win by 6 strokes. I mean, I don't know if he will, but like he's already 10 under. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that 8 neighborhood is very realistic for a guy that's 29 and might be heading towards his 4th major. Next question.
Do you like the WNBA using a 4-point shot in their All-Star game?
Sure. If the baseball is going to use a swing off, an All-Star game can use a 4-point shot.
What about live substitutions?
That's
Did you hear this,
interesting.
Brent? Live
like hockey?
Game substitutions. I don't know what it means either, but I'm envisioning more of like a line change during game action.
Like, could someone just come off the bench like randomly?
I can't deal with that. Wouldn't you then be cherry picking right down to the like, let me just walk onto the floor at the basket and lay it in?
Live game substitutions?
I don't know. Again, it's an All-Star game. I'm with you. You can have fun with it. We're not going to see Caitlin Clark. I'm fine with a 4-point shot.
Yeah, I've come to the conclusion now that anytime there's an All-Star game, turn it into Savannah Banana. Like, just make it gimmicky, 4-point plays, Globetrotter, golden at bat, swing off, like do it all.
I'm with you. I'm not going to fight it. Next question.
Will Aaron Judge break Barry Bonds' record for most career home runs?
All right, you're going to have to do math for me because I can't do math.
He needs to hit 400.
400.
I don't see how he could do it. There was an article in The Athletic today about it.
You need to have 763 would be
he's
breaking the record.
413. He's only hit 350, but nobody's ever done it in fewer games.
He's 33 years old.
That's the problem.
I know how he could do it.
We all know how he could do it.
Well, 363. Wink. If he played another 10 years, I know that's aggressive. But if he played 10 years, it's only 36 a year.
So he's the way to 43?
Yeah, but that's 36 a year. He's going to hit 70 1 or 2 times or 60 1 or 2 times. So let's say, how many years would he have to hit 45 is the question. How many more years at 45?
You're asking the wrong person, dude.
He would need about 8 years of a 45 pace.
So,
yeah, that's what he would need.
Computer's not working, but I'm trying to look. From Bonds' age 33 season.
Yeah, how many did he hit?
Till his final year in 2007.
Yeah.
He hit 388 home runs.
Wow.
He had a 71 WAR.
So that's actually more than what Judge needs.
Yeah.
Judge needs 363.
Bonds from 98 to 90 or 2007. He's age 33 to 42 year. He averaged a 314 average with a 1,193 OPS and a 209 OPS plus.
Yeah,
I love looking at Bonds' numbers. They're so stupid.
Yeah,
they're just ridiculous. I mean, he averaged 162 game average. He averaged a 9 WAR with 50 homers, a 314 batting average, a 496 on base. And
the funny thing is
97 slug.
The funny thing is Judge right now in his prime at his best is doing ridiculous things. I'm not saying to that level. Of course, the game has changed a lot since then as well. But what Aaron Judge is doing right now, I'm not saying it's Barry Bonds, but you could at least make an argument for a guy that's going to hit 700 home runs. It's not impossible to envision him playing another 8 or 9 years and hitting 700 home runs.
Look, for the last 5 seasons, from 2021 to 2025, he's put up Bonds-like numbers.
That's what I'm saying.
He's going to win another MVP. So it's 3 MVPs. He has a season with 62 home runs. He has 58 home runs last year. He could easily get 50 home runs this year.
Yep.
He's putting up Bonds numbers. I mean, he leads the league in WAR already with a 7 WAR. He's had 2 seasons over a 10 WAR.
Yeah. Again, I think it's a funny conversation. It's like, how could you hit another 363 home runs? But then again, he's the fastest in baseball history to 350. Yeah. He's just old, though. Like, if he would have broke in as a 20-year-old, he didn't break it. When did he make his major league debut? How old was he?
24, but he didn't break on the scene until 25.
Yeah, that's the thing. He wasn't a 21-year-old.
He had 95 at-bats, 84 at-bats in 2016. 2017 was the year that he really broke out. He had an 8 WAR season, 52 homers. He finished runner-up in the MVP, and of course, he won Rookie of the Year. Who did he lose to in MVP in 2017?
Click on it.
Jose Altuve.
Oh wow, yeah, we probably had like 250 hits that year.
No, he only had 204. But
Interesting.
He had 346.
All right, let's get to our next question. Oh, the no-hitter is over for Dylan Cease. By the way, they jinxed it. They just showed last year's no-hitter. Now it's only the second inning.
I blame Schulte on this one because he probably was thinking in the dugout, man, he's got no hit stuff tonight.
Don't talk to him. He has a lot of hitting in an inning. All right, next question.
What will the Padres' record be at the end of their 10-game road trip?
Let's see you do math wrong. Like 81-69. Like, wait, what?
5-6.
I'm gonna go. I'll be bullish on them. I'll say they'll have a 6-4 road trip.
I completely agree.
I'll say they have a 6-4 road trip. They're 10 games over 500. Coming home next week, and they play the Mets.
So that would be 58-48 would be the record.
58-48.
Yeah, I would take that right now. That would involve like, okay, you get a series win here. You take 2 out of 3. You get another series win somewhere, right? Miami.
Yeah, you happen to lose one series, okay.
Or, yeah, what is it, a 2-3 game series and a 4-game series? Who's the 4-game series against? Is that against Miami or St. Louis? I don't have
that
it in front
would
of me.
be against St. Louis.
Okay, yeah. So you go 2-1, 2-1, and then you split against St. Louis.
Yeah.
That's 6-4.
There you go.
So we'll see if they can do that. I think almost anyone would take that. They've been under 500 on the road this year.
If you don't take that, you have too high of expectations.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
And honestly, 6-4, that's really good. That you'd always want to have that type of road trip for a 10-game road trip. 6-4, come on.
This was the road trip last year. Again, we've referenced it a lot. I mean, they took off last year. They just completely took off. They had an 8-game win streak.
And I'm sure they've talked about it.
They have to.
And they've also, I'm sure, thought about it.
Yeah, and now it's like, can you execute on it? And am I expecting something like that? The 43-19 finish to repeat itself, or the 8-2 road trip to begin the second half to repeat itself? I'm not, but have crazier things happen? Yeah, absolutely. Is it possible? Of course it is.
Well, that no-hitter came on that 10-game road trip out of the break last year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, in Washington. So
that really is crazy.
I'm sure a lot of these players and Schulte have thought about that specific road trip that catapulted them for the rest of the season.
Love that.
And it starts in Washington. Dylan Cease on the mound. Good feelings, right? Hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's thrown it, well enough to start this game. Where Dylan Cease has run into trouble this year is those big innings, right? Like he'll be cruising along and then 4 consecutive hits and 3 runs later. That has done him in. Again, Jim talked about it earlier. He had the note that he's winless on the road this year with a 6.27 ERA, believe it or not, coming in. So it's an important start. Like it's one thing to say that. We say that all the time. It's actually true with Dylan Cease. Very slow starts to the year. He's been terrible on the road. It's a very important night for Dylan Cease. I truly believe that. And I'm going to read into it. If he pitches well, I'm going to make a lot of it. If he pitches poorly, I'm going to make a lot to tonight on the road.
Well, he's going to pitch well.
Because you tweeted about him earlier.
100%.
Okay, what'd you say?
I said he was 0-6 with a 6 whatever on the road this season.
Pitch better.
He's gonna pitch well tonight. Guarantee it.
Okay.
It's the Jim Russell jinx, not the guarantee. It's the Jim Russell like reverse jinx. And I didn't even mean it. I know he's gonna pitch well tonight.
I hope you're right. Did he strike out the side in the first inning, Jim, or no?
I don't know, but I know that at the end of the night, he will have had a good outing.
Yeah, he struck out the side in the first, and Jim has now maybe reverse jinx the reverse jinx.
No, I'm not. No more. Just he's going to pitch a good game tonight.
If he doesn't, I'm going to look at you.
Okay,
all right.
Fine. It's all my fault either way.
It's exactly right. No, it's not your fault if he pitches well. All right,
I
coming up at 4:30. Oh. Open the talkback mic. Actually, open the app. Click on San Diego Sports 760, the iHeartRadio app. Search for San Diego Sports 760. Put us in your presets. Click on the talkback mic and tell us your favorite superhero. You have 5 minutes to do that, and you're eligible to win 2 badges, single-day badges to Comic-Con next week. Open the app. Search for 760. Click on the talkback mic. Tell us your favorite superhero. Put us in your presets. San Diego Sports 760.
Final day, by the way. Final day. You have 5 minutes. These are final passes of the week for Comic-Con.
Chris Fanini, The Athletic, at 4:30 with college football month out. Kevin Acey, our Padres Insider, at 5 p.m. John and Jim. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 here until 6 p.m. on this Friday night. Padres 10-game road trip to begin the second half is underway. If you missed our conversation with Kevin Acee, remember, we started the show here, and you'll hear it coming up at 5, but he does address what he wrote, which is on the Padres, they don't have a lot of money to commit, nor do they have a lot of prospects or young major leaguers to trade. Now, he went down the same path we did, Jim, which is it's still AJ Preller, and he's not saying they can't pull off some sizable move. But again, he's kind of doubled down on that. He's been saying it for weeks on end, and we'll see where they go from here. Again, the thing with the trade deadline is we always do this every year. We're like, man, the trade deadline's 13 days out. Nothing happens by and large until what, like July 28th? July 30th. I mean, it could play out like the day before the deadline or the day of the deadline.
Well, luckily they'll be here in San Diego.
Yeah, didn't you say they were off on the 31st or no?
They are off on the 31st.
And that's the actual deadline this year.
So they have a 6-game homestand with the Mets and the Cardinals.
Right.
And they're off on Thursday the 31st. They actually have an off day 3 straight Thursdays in a row. 6 of the next 7 Thursdays.
Interesting.
So hold on, sorry, I did that wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 of the next 6 Thursdays.
That's a little bit like their start. Remember in April, they had a lot of off days. Yeah. And then in June, they didn't. And they finally played basically every day.
They got an off day on the 31st, the 7th, the 14th, the 28th, and the 4th.
Okay. So, yeah, that could be beneficial for them. Again, I think that you think about Michael King's possible return in August. Are we banking on that? Are you counting on Michael King right now? How much are you counting on Michael King right now?
Well, not a lot because he hasn't started throwing a bullpen or ramped it up or a rehab start. I mean,
right.
You kind of have to wait to see with him. So I know he has claimed and he has said he will 100% pitch again this season. Yep. I believe that he will. Just to what effectiveness will he be? How effective will he be for this team?
What about your level of confidence in Yu Darvish in the second half of the year?
Again, I'm gonna have to see it from Yu Darvish as well because look, 2 starts, right?
He made 2 before the All-Star.
Yeah, 2 starts. He didn't look great on Saturday.
The first start, he only threw a couple of innings.
Only threw 3 and a third or 3 2/3. I'm gonna have to see with him as well.
What's your level of confidence with?
What about you? What's your level of confidence with Michael King?
Well, the reason I asked that is because we've spent so much time talking about the offense that you're like, what about do they need to add starting pitching depth? Ken Rosenthal mentioned that today when we played it.
But have they lost games recently because of their starting pitching and bullpen? That was the question. And the answer is no.
Yeah, but is their goal to not that's fair, but how are you going to win in the postseason?
By scoring more runs than the other team?
But they're going to need pitching also to do that, right? Where the Padres have run into trouble each of the last 3 postseason exits. Joe Musgrove was out last year. Mm-hmm. That hinged their season in Game 4 of the NLDS. I get it. They didn't score. But that was a massive blow.
I get it, but the bigger story was they did not score for 24 consecutive innings. Not that their pitching was not good.
Their Game 4 pitching was a big story.
Yeah, it's because Dylan Cease stunk it up.
It might have been a different.
But in Game 5, Yu Darvish pitched
great.
Very
good. It was very
so
good.
The reason why the Padres got bounced last year was not their pitching; it was their offense.
Nah, Dylan Cease played a role, man. Game 1 and Game 4, that was a huge part of it. They had a 5-2 lead.
They went 24 scoreless innings in a row.
They had a 5-2 lead in Game 1.
Okay.
And guess who gave it up?
In Game 1, Dylan Cease. But then they had a
5-2 lead.
And they had a 2-1 series lead.
I know, but I'm saying if we're not confident in Michael King and Yu Darvish, and they're going to ride their offense to postseason series wins, then I want to live in that world.
Well, right now they are staying keeping their head above water because of their bullpen and their pitching, and they would be much better if they just put up more runs on the board. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
You don't agree that they would be better?
But I do think I would agree with it, but I wouldn't feel confident if they didn't have an effective Michael King or Yu Darvish in the second half. 2 things can be true.
Yeah.
That's my point.
But also, to me, the bigger problem with this team is the offense.
The bigger problem. Okay.
That's been the bigger problem with this team for almost all of this season. Pitching, I get it, but the offense has been too big of a problem to not say that that's the main reason why they are where they are.
I agree with you. All right, Chris Vanini from The Athletic. He's going to join us coming up in just a handful of minutes. He was live with us actually from Pac-12 Media Days.
Soon.
From Mountain West Media Days. Next year will be a Pac-12 Media Days. But an interesting conversation just about where these two leagues are and where they are heading. So you're going to hear from Chris Vanini of The Athletic on the other side. In addition, if you missed Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, you'll hear our conversation at 5 p.m. We do address what he wrote today, which is about the deadline. He said they don't have a lot of money, nor do they have a lot of prospects or young major leaguers to trade. So we'll get into that with Kevin coming up at 5 p.m. Again, be listening for the Superman theme song. When you hear it, open the app, search for San Diego Sports 760, click on the talkback mic. Tell us your favorite superhero within 5 minutes to be eligible to win 2 single-day Comic-Con badges. We'll announce the winner today coming up at 5:30. But Chris Vanini from The Athletic on the other side. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, guys, it is John and Jim for our friends at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Get there. Coming up Monday night, every Monday in July, in fact, you've got a chance to win big. 10 winners every hour, 7, 8, 9 p.m. Odds better than ever. Onyx players getting an extra $100 cash bonus on top of their winnings. Plus, earn entries all month long by playing. Get 2 times the entries Tuesdays with at least $500 cash for all winners, a chance to win up to $50,000 in the big deal game. It's a promotion you're not going to want to miss.
And tomorrow night is UFC 318 starting at 7 p.m. Catch all the action at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, Loft 94, or their poker rooms. And then Sunday, indulge in a decadent brunch at Prime Cut featuring lobster tails and hand-carved prime rib from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. It's the perfect way to end your weekend and treat yourself.
So much action going on. Get there this weekend and next week, the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
All right, this update's brought to you by Lowe's. Padres Nationals underway in DC. Padres have a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the third inning. And SDFC takes on Vancouver tomorrow night in a battle between the top two teams in the Western Conference. 7:30 kickoff time, 7 p.m. pregame. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Member Week is here at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off faucets, vanities, and more. Join My Lowe's Pro Rewards for free today and get ready to save more. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms subject to change.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. If you missed Kevin Acey, you'll hear our conversation coming up at 5 p.m. We had Chris Vanini from The Athletic with us yesterday from Mountain West Football Media Days in Las Vegas. Great resource for college football fans. He wrote today in The Athletic a really interesting piece about the dynamic playing out right now between the Mountain West and the Pac-12. We started our conversation about that. Is it awkward? Is it contentious with 5 teams from the Mountain West, including San Diego State, heading for the Pac-12?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this in a couple of leagues over the past couple of years, teams on their way out, but not out yet. And it makes for an awkward transition in between period. And that's what the Mountain West and Pac-12 are going to. The timing of it all, the mediation ending a day before media days makes for some good fodder and conversations with everybody here about kind of where they feel about or how they feel about that. And I'm going to write a story about that coming out of this. But I can tell you that the people who are sticking in the Mountain West, who are not going to the Pac-12, feel good about the future of that conference and the new look conference in 26 and beyond. So it's kind of a spot where you kind of have the two, everybody's cordial with each other, but you clearly kind of have two sides, and both sides to this point feel good about where they're at, which would also explain why mediation didn't get settled.
I feel like this might be a dumb question because the state of college football and college athletics, it's always expansion. But do you feel like the Pac-12 is done expanding as of right now?
As of right now, yes. I mean, they need to finish the television deal, and that's the Mountain West is dealing with the same thing. They don't want to look at anybody else until you get to that, because the TV deal is the most important thing for both of these leagues, both of which have probably gone on a bit longer than either of them wanted to. But when you've kind of split yourself in half, that ends up happening. So, affiliate members for the Pac-12 in some sports like baseball or something like that could certainly be down the road. But from the people I've talked to, they're focused on finishing up that television deal now that you have the 8 full members with Texas State, and then going on from there. But also the mediation was part of that too, the settlement, because that's a lot of money that nobody quite knows yet if they're going to owe, or how much they're going to owe, or when they're going to owe.
Chris Vanini from The Athletic with us right now. John and Jim, Mount West Media Days at the Circa. I guess 30,000-foot view, because you've covered Group of 5 football for a long time. Is there room for 2 Western leagues that aren't quote-unquote power leagues to thrive? I know it's kind of a subjective general statement, but do you think they both can have their level of successes from TV deals, wins on field, retainment of talent? Can that happen in the West between these 2 leagues?
Yes, but I think everybody's waiting to see what happens in 5 years anyway. So if you were to tell me, will the Pac-12 and Mountain West both be around together 10 years from now? I have no idea. I don't think they have no idea. Everybody's kind of trying to prepare themselves for the next round of whatever it's going to be, which is in 4 or 5 years, 6 years, when the Big Ten deal comes up, when the SEC deal comes up, Big 12 as well. That's when the next stuff is going to happen. But I've written, and Pac-12 people didn't like it, but I wrote last year that I thought they should have just merged. Like, I think a lot of people on the outside who aren't totally paying close attention to the Mountain West and Pac-12 battles are saying, why didn't they just add them all? You wouldn't have had this court stuff. You'd have one singular focused West Coast league. But the Pac-12 people still, the schools on their way out, still feel that they made the right call, still feel like they're going to be with more like-minded institutions investing at a higher level. It's just probably going to be a smaller conference than anybody wanted. And when you only have 8-9 members, it kind of puts you in a little bit of a tough spot for scheduling, for all kinds of things. But now that the Mountain West is backfilled and everything, it doesn't seem like any sort of merger is possible. And I don't think the Pac-12 people want to do it anyway.
What do you think? I mean, you talked about your thoughts on the Pac-12, but expanding on the power of that conference with the teams that are in it now. What do you make of all the schools that are in it, going forward next year?
Going to be a very good football conference. Going to be a very good basketball conference. Maybe the best non-power basketball conference. Will be right there competing for the playoff spot for the group of 5 moving forward. Whatever the playoff looks like, we're not exactly sure. But I don't think the American will be going away either. I think they have plenty of good programs that will be right there in that mix. So I think most years you'll probably have the Pac and the American, most likely one of those two, determining the playoff spot. Just like now, it's currently the American and the Mountain West.
Yeah.
For most years,
right.
are the ones kind of battling for that one spot. So I would imagine it'll be pretty similar.
Chris Vanini, The Athletic, with us right now on John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. You reported yesterday that CBS will be involved in the next Mountain West TV deal. We know that the Pac-12 has announced formally that CBS will be involved in their upcoming TV deal. Do you have any thoughts on how it will all be put together? Should we expect more midweek football games when it comes to the Mountain West, or how creative can they get? Because it seems like there's only so many TV slots when it comes to a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and that's yet to be seen, at least from what I've heard so far. Neither TV deal is done, so we don't know what the remaining partners will be. There's a chance there's a lot more overlap in the remaining partners too. I think CBS is trying to get back into sports more. They've got Big Ten, they've got Conference USA, the MAC, and they're opting in for both West Coast conferences, and so they're going to make room whatever way you can. How much is going to be on CBS yet to be seen, at least as far as I know, but as of right now, most of it is CBS Sports Network with some of it on the main CBS, and I imagine it would probably be pretty similar. Now the time slots and the days, we'll see, but both these conferences are not as big as the current Mountain West. So there is not that much more you're really adding.
On the field, Sean Lewis, year 2, expectations are coming off a 3-9 season for him.
I was just talking to him earlier. I'm sure you guys did too, but I know he feels a lot better just kind of about the basic foundation.
Yeah.
I know, they had 8-9 offensive linemen last year. Like you can't do anything with that. Now they're up to much better numbers. Feels good about the quarterback situation. And as with him, it's usually year 2 when things kind of start to click with people who have been around. Now you have a lot more turnover now with the roster and everything compared to what it used to be, but it's not new to a lot of these people. And so I would expect you got to get back to a bowl game, maybe surprise some people and get into conference championship contention. But obviously the expectations at San Diego State are really high, and year 2, you got to be better, and I think they will be.
I've asked you before. We've asked you before, and you've been asked about San Diego State kind of in the ecosystem. You've heard people refer to SDSU as like a sleeping giant when it comes to football before, their proximity being in Southern California. It's impossible to know what happens in 5 years, whether there's super leagues or breakaways or what transpires. Is there a world in the next, handful of years to a decade, though, where programs like a Boise State or San Diego State are quote unquote elevated or part of this pie? If there is a breakaway, is there going to be room for programs like an Oregon State or a Washington State or a Boise State or a San Diego State? Or has that line already been drawn in the sand, even though we haven't gotten to that point yet?
It's certainly possible. I don't even think the people in charge know what the future is going to be, because everything is built around television, and television is changing dramatically. We don't know what it's going to look like in 5 years. Is Apple going to be involved, or are they not? Apple's going to go buy the F1 rights. How big or small is ESPN going to be? Is there more or less money to throw around? Is private equity going to jump in? And, they've pitched their Super League with all of FBS essentially, and trying to create that and promotion and relegation. Like, they've made that pitch as well. It's just going to come down to what the most valuable thing is, and we don't know what that's going to be. Like, Greg Sankey doesn't know what it's going to be. Tony Petitti doesn't know what it's going to be, because it's changing every couple of months. Who would have imagined? Apple swings in to likely get the F1 rights at a much higher price from ESPN, which people didn't think was going to happen, and suddenly it did. So you never really know who's going to emerge, but it all comes down to your television deal and how much money and how much you can spread that around. That's what these things always come down to.
Last year, before the new college football game came out, you played it. You wrote a whole thing about it. This year, the 26 game Have you played it yet? And how different is it from the first version of what they had last year, bringing that game back?
Yeah, I have it. I've played it. It's out now. It's pretty similar, but better in pretty much every aspect. And so I kind of wrote my review of, is it worth the upgrade? And it kind of depends what you like to do.
Yeah.
If you're just Dynasty mode by yourself, probably don't need to upgrade. But if you're online playing, you got to upgrade. Obviously, you got to do that. If you like Road to Glory is much more expansive now. You can do the high school mode, which I found actually to be a lot of fun.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it kind of depends what you use the game for. But they fixed a lot of the major. There were a couple of major holes that everybody knew was in the first game, and they have filled those. And it just kind of comes down to preference on how you like to play the game.
Didn't you? I don't play, but I know the reporting is there's head coaches now in the game, right? Does that include outside of the power, like are Mount West coaches in the game? Is Sean Lewis and Dan Mullen and everyone else in the game as well?
Yeah, it's all the real FBS head coaches.
So
Now, not everybody is in it. There are a handful who aren't for various reasons. Jason Eck from New Mexico here isn't in it, but that's because he never got the email to sign up to be in it. It was sent to the wrong person who doesn't work at New Mexico anymore. Like that. So New Mexico has since signed on, so he will be in like the next update to the game, in a couple of weeks or whatever they do. But like Deion Sanders is not in the game. Not a surprise. Bill Belichick is not.
Sure.
He didn't do Madden either.
Yeah.
Belichick did. So that's not a surprise. There were a couple like Mario Cristobal is a surprise, but pretty much all the real head coaches and the coordinators, the offensive and defensive coordinators, all in the game.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's really cool. All right, final one before you go. Boise or the field to represent the group of 5 in the college football playoff?
I'm going to say the field because it usually doesn't play out the way we expect going into every season. Now, I do think Boise is the most talented team. I don't think they're going to miss not having Ashton Genty because I think Sire Gaines is going to be a really, really good running back, and I think Malik Sherrod is a good running back. I think Maddox Madsen is probably the best quarterback in the league, and the defense brings a ton back. So, it's all on paper for it to happen, but they got to go to USF. They got App State. They got to go to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a tricky schedule. They could do it. I think it's a really talented program, but history has said the team we think is going to be the team that does it often is not the team that ends up there at the end.
I didn't think I would hear that. Team's not going to really miss Ashton Genty that much. Second in Heisman voting. That's crazy.
It's really it's the Moneyball Brad Pitt meme where it's like we're going to replace him in the aggregate, and they really are.
Yeah.
I Sire Gaines was averaging like 9 yards a carry before he got hurt last year.
That's crazy.
He was a freshman.
Yeah.
So, and Boise has always had elite running backs.
Sure.
Every 3 years, they get a new guy drafted. So, they're going to have another guy.
Yeah. We'll see. San Diego State will host Boise State actually in the middle of November here in 2025. Chris, great reporting and writing in The Athletic for our listeners. If you're a San Diego State fan, pick up a subscription a lot on the group of now 6 with Chris Vanini leading the way. So, Chris, we appreciate you taking time for us in San Diego.
Thanks for having me.
All right, college football. Good to be there for Media Days. The Aztecs open in about 40 days. College football season will get underway Thursday, August 28th. If you missed Kevin Acee, you'll hear a conversation coming up at 5 p.m. On the other side, a big one for SDFC tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium. We'll discuss, plus Kevin Acee at 5 p.m., plus Comic-Con badges. We're giving them away today. We'll have the winner around 5:30. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We'll hear from Kevin Acee coming up at 5 p.m. Did you see the report yesterday?
No, seriously, let's talk about it. So there was a report yesterday
about we talked about this weeks ago, by the way. I don't know if you were you away for that? This has actually been reported for weeks, but there was a report that got us closer to this point, more of a confirmation that a NASCAR street race could be coming to San Diego for 2026.
Yeah, Kelly Crandall reported on this story. She's the first person to break the news that it's headed to San Diego in 2026.
It was even reported like a month ago.
Right, it's not new information.
I can find it,
But the person to officially break this story was Kelly Crandall.
Right.
Yesterday morning at 5:57 a.m.
Okay.
And she covers NASCAR for ESPN. What do you make of NASCAR coming to San Diego in 2026, according to Kelly Crandall here of ESPN?
Okay, a couple of things. There's no race currently in Southern California NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the idea of a street race more than just going around an oval track. There is no oval track, by the way, in San Diego. So I like it. I mean, to be completely honest, I mean, I'm not a NASCAR fan. I'm not an F1 fan either. But when I think street race, I think F1 before NASCAR. But if you use the backdrop as the city of San Diego, I think that'll be visually appealing, especially if you're using parts of Coronado for that. So, I mean, I think it'll be popular. I promise you that. I mean, we're in a population based in Southern California with tens of millions of people. So I think it'll be a popular event. I think it's reported for Father's Day weekend in 2026. So, I mean, I'm intrigued. And I think sporting events, listen, San Diego needs marquee sporting events, right? They had a U.S. Open, probably not getting one for another 20 years. Like, there's not a ton of marquee sporting events in San Diego. So I say the more the merrier when it comes to something like this.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a fan base out there for this.
Yeah.
Me personally, it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't do anything for me. Sorry.
So you're not feeling it?
Nah, it's not something I'm like, can't wait till NASCAR comes to San Diego. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Brent?
My thing is, I want to know what the route is, because I want to know how much of the city is going to get shut down and for how long.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because look at how much people throw a fit when Rock and Roll Marathon shuts down the city for like, a morning and part of the afternoon. This will be like that on steroids.
Yeah.
So it depends on what the route is. If it's going to be a route that, won't have any impact on like my daily activities or anything like that, I'm all for it. But if it's one of those things where it's like, oh, now I'm going to be kind of stuck in my house for the next 12 hours until they clear the race route away and stuff like that. So for me, it depends on what the route of the race is.
Again, I mean, I'm not going to, I don't see anything that would be wrong with it other than, to Brent's point, the logistics. I do buy that. But to watch a race on national TV on a nice day in San Diego with the visuals of Coronado or downtown or any of these towns that surround San Diego, it's so visually appealing. I think there's something to like, probably, if you're NASCAR. I mean, you're not running a race in Southern California, second largest population base in the country. It would make sense to me to run a race in Southern California.
And they just announced, NASCAR, that they will not be returning to Chicago in 2026, but will explore possibilities for 2027.
Okay. So, and Chicago was a street race. It wasn't a Chicago oval. So, I mean, again, am I going to be like first in line to get tickets? I might not be. I might not be first in line to get tickets for it, but to each their own. I'm not the first guy to get Survivor Series tickets, but there's a huge audience for that.
Yeah, I like Pokemon cards. You don't.
I don't.
To each their own.
Exactly.
And Pokemon cards are massive, but to you have no clue about that because you don't, look at that.
I would have gotten that trainer card and been like, I just got $100 million card.
Right.
I would have been running around the casino.
But for me, NASCAR doesn't do it.
Right.
Sorry.
I've never been a NASCAR guy.
So when I was, I think 19 years old, those like temp jobs.
Yeah, of course.
So I got a temp job
like
as
an hourly job, temporary hourly job.
Yeah. So I applied for a temp job for a catering service.
Mm-hmm.
And up in Sonoma County, they have the Sonoma County racetrack.
Right.
And NASCAR has an event there.
Right.
And so I helped cater, or as a part of a catering event for a NASCAR race. It might have been. Either it was NASCAR or I think it was NASCAR.
It certainly wasn't F1 or
No.
a different series. You're
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
maybe,
it was NASCAR, and it was, to me, it was boring. It was loud.
It's definitely loud.
It's not something for me. I've also been to an event at a NASCAR race in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, it's just blah.
Yeah.
But again, it teach their own. And for me, it does nothing for me. I don't find any of the appeal to it at all. I don't understand why, San Diego's like this hotbed for a NASCAR event, but I understand that the scenery and the views would be great for television. But
I think there's no race in Southern California, and there used to be. I don't know what's going on with the California Speedway. Right? There's a speedway that's being renovated, so in the meantime, they want to get back to California.
And by the way, the F1 event in Vegas was a complete flop.
I mean, they got a 10-year deal.
Did you see the amount of people that were there for the F1 race? Not a lot. They had
the
these.
First year I was there, it was the most packed thing I've ever seen in my life.
Because they cut off how many streets in Vegas?
Well, a million. The people in Vegas absolutely hate it.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
I don't know about. I mean, I think there were a zillion people there. I mean, I was there, so there were a zillion people there for the first
I saw
year.
that the prices for tickets for like the stands were nuts, and nobody it was bare. Like there was not a lot of people there.
No, I don't know what. Maybe that was this past year.
For the expensive suite sections.
Maybe this past year. 619 says, "What if the race was in Coronado, which is being discussed?" Another 619 says, "I'm a huge NASCAR guy, super psyched. Jim, I'll show you the way, bro. Come on, these races are a blast."
Okay, and that's great. Yeah. I'm not, dogging you at all for loving NASCAR. That's awesome. I teach their own. To me, I just don't see the appeal.
Yeah, I'd like to see it, I guess. But I'm with you. Like if it impacted my neighborhood, if they shut down my streets for weeks on end, that would be a problem. But as like an outside observer, if I could just show up for the race or watch it on TV, and if it looked cool, yeah, I'd throw it on to see what it looks like. Am I going to watch the entire 500-mile race? Probably not.
No.
I probably won't. All right, we're going to hear from Kevin AC on the other side. Joined us earlier from DC, getting into the Padres in the second half to kick off our final hour. Of the winner of those Comic-Con badges coming up at 5:30 as well. Hour 4 of John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app is next.
This update is brought to you by the Jim Petrell real estate team. Padres Nationals. Update on that game. Bottom of the 5th inning. Padres still hold a 1-0 lead there. And SDFC, they take on Vancouver tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium. 7:30 kickoff time. 7 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell is the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
It's John and Jim to warm up that drive home.
To get far, you need the Kings and the Ceases. You're not going to like run away from Dylan Cease and Michael King's, dealing with injuries. You're not going to go anywhere if you don't have effectiveness or health out of those players.
We said that last year, and Dylan Cease stunk it up in the postseason, and look what happened. They got bounced in the division round.
Now, time for John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of John and Jim. Stay with us for those Comic-Con badges. We're going to give away 2 single-day badges coming up at 5:30. So be listening for that. Now, Padres are playing right now. We had Kevin Acer, our Padres insider, with us earlier in the day to talk about the start of the second half, the upcoming trade deadline. But we started the conversation talking about Kevin's lengthy 2-week road trip, all-star break, followed by this 10-game road trip. How do you pack for something like that?
Yeah, you do a carry-on,
Okay.
and I will, because there are 12 games I will have to attend. I brought 10 shirts, 3 pairs of pants. The pants will last. You have to launder the 2 of the shirts because you got to repeat. The 2 shirts you wore for the All-Star Game festivities will be the last 2 shirts you wear on the trip. That's how you do it.
This is fascinating.
Wow. I always feel like are you the packer, Kevin, that like feels like you overpack, or do you pack just enough? Like
No.
what kind of packer are you?
You couldn't do that if you were me. You couldn't do that if you were me, which I think everyone at some point is, right? But then you learn there's no way I'm checking a bag. I don't care if it's
Smart.
a month long.
Yeah.
I don't care. No way I'm checking a bag. So yeah, 2 weeks with a carry-on. That's,
It's doable.
Jim's
it's
like,
impressive, but it is.
right. Jim's like, should I bring this lamp or not? I guess I'll leave the lamp at home for this trip.
I'm like, how many pairs of shoes should I bring?
Exactly. All right. Kevin Ace is with us from DC. The second half about to get underway within the hour. Let's start with Dylan Cease, Kevin. I mean, when you look at his road struggles, it's been a struggle of a year, but it's even worse when you look at what he's done on the road. I know he had that bad Sacramento start, but 0-6 with a 6.27 ERA on the road. I've asked you about it before, but I mean, I guess it's as simple as this, right? He's just got to be, he doesn't have to be better in the second half. He's got to look like the Dylan Cease we saw last year in the second half, doesn't he?
Yeah, like not better than he should be, right? Like he needs to be better, but not better than he should be, or better than he has been. Absolutely, man. I like to downplay those stats, but that obviously is a pretty big one. When you're up above a 6, and obviously the disparity was even worse before the last start at home, right?
Yep.
So like there is, I don't know if there's something to it. Like it seems there is, but like he really hasn't been great anyway. And Petco is a nice place to pitch, no matter what they say, like about it becoming more fair. It's a nice place to pitch, fly balls that die and all that. So look, the bottom line, as you guys, as all of us, have spent way too much time talking about, though it's the appropriate amount of time, but way too much time in that, what are we doing? Talking about Dylan Cease sucking. That's not good, man. Like who's he going against tonight? Soraka?
Yep.
Like, we got a 5.35, I think. And you look at that, and not all of us follow the Washington Nationals, and we don't know. We're like, oh, hey, let's look it up. Okay. And you're like, man, that's not very good. But what do you think people that don't follow baseball are doing very much and look, and they say this Dylan Cease character, 4.88. It's like, no, that's Dylan Cease, who's like borderline Cy Young 2 of the last 3 years, who has a 4.88. It's like he's some journeyman right now.
Yeah, he finished 4th last year in Cy Young voting in the National League. What do you make of Elias Diaz catching him tonight instead of Martin Maldonado? Anything to that that you see?
I honestly hadn't even caught it by the time I talked to Mike Schilt. I don't know what that. I mean, I was kicking myself because it's interesting because Martin Maldonado is still here.
Right.
Now, I from my understanding, of how this is shaping out, because I think we've all understood that Mike Shildt is a big Martin Maldonado guy, and that's why Martin Maldonado's here. But like that Martin Maldonado, we all can look at and go, well, what good is he doing if Dylan Cease, Dylan Cease is personal catcher, and Dylan Cease has a 4.88 ERA. Well, I think you do have to give Martin Maldonado, at least, or you have to want to believe that it's valid to give Martin Maldonado some credit for some of the younger guys that he's caught and helping, whether he's catching them or not, in the preparation for Berger, who he is catching for, and let's see, Kolick is Diaz, and I think Vasquez is Diaz. No, he's Maldonado. So, like, you have to think about it like those guys navigating with Campusano, and maybe what we know about Campusano's kind of getting lost in games, maybe his attention span, not having the experience Maldonado does, not having the presence Maldonado does. I'm not trying to rip Campusano. I'm just throwing it out there like it is. That like that Shildt is giving a lot of credit to that. But I am surprised, and I will find out later why this move was made.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. He's in D.C. Padres and Nationals coming up within the hour. So you wrote something today that is not a surprise to me or Jim or our listeners, but maybe was a surprise to some people that just read it in the paper but haven't been listening to our conversations. You said this repeatedly, and you wrote this. They don't have a lot of money to commit, nor do they have a lot of prospects or young major leaguers to trade. This is something that we've talked about for weeks on end. I mean, again, Preller remains the wild card, but from your seat 2 weeks out, your expectations are to kind of temper the expectations for the fan base for 2 weeks from now?
Yes, only trying to be realistic that, not every move that's made works out. As a matter of fact, most of them don't. Now, I think we talked about this Wednesday, the idea that they are buyers and sellers, right? And my understanding is that that's a real, if not likelihood, it's a strong possibility that they are going to rely basically on the creativity of AJ Preller, right? Like that he can get something done and he can go out and spend a little money, but he's got to do it with the prospects he has. And it's not like we've got $8 million extra for this guy to spend, is my understanding at this point. So, like, does that mean, and I have not heard names, but does that mean unloading an Arraez? I don't think a Suarez at all. But what does that mean? Is that trading? Everybody wants Cronenworth. I mean, because here's why. If Cronenworth is this player that he's been here to this year, probably his most consistent season, and has shown that he can be and has been for times, that contract is really good. That's a really good contract. And they can probably get a decent haul for him. Now that would break my heart, obviously. And I'm not saying that's, I'm just throwing this out there as like those names, just as, okay, if people are telling you that they could be sellers in order to facilitate being buyers, who is it that makes sense? So there's some fodder for you guys to make up your own scenarios over the next few days.
And a couple of weeks ago, after the latest Dylan Cease bad start, it was, to me, I thought they could do that what you're talking about, like a buy and a sell. Is Cease's name a name that they could use as a sell to buy type of thing if he's not going to turn it around in the next couple starts here, and he's going to leave in free agency? Or do they just feel like, what, we need as much pitching as possible, even if Cease is having a bad year, he can still just give us innings?
I could be caught flat-footed on this, like I was on your question about Elias Diaz, but I'm not really giving that much consideration, because one thing he's doing is giving you 5 2/3 innings on average. Like, what are you going to do without that?
Right.
It's like, that's why I want to give and believe that people are telling me that you give Maldonado credit for nurturing some of these younger guys, the pitchers. What are you doing if Stephen Kolick hasn't done what he's done and Randy Vasquez hasn't done what he's done and Ryan Berger hasn't done what he's done? Like, the tenuous nature of the rotation, I just don't see how you unload Dylan Cease.
Kevin Acee is
the rest of it, Jim, is valid. Like, in terms of what you could save, what you could move. Maybe someone thinks they could do something. But I don't see, because you need to replace those innings.
Right, exactly.
That makes sense. Kevin's with us from DC, our Padres insider. What did you make of Manny Machado? And I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me, but he essentially said we've played our worst baseball. and we're 52-44, and our best baseball is in front of us. I mean, it's easy to say that, but are there indicators to believe that what played out last year, for example, in the second half, where they just took off like wildfire? I mean, isn't it too easy to just say, well, they did it last year, so they're going to do it again?
You have to squint pretty hard. I thought it was going to be a little more obvious. I really did, based on the fact that they went 6-4 on this homestand, which I thought was really good. Based on the fact they hit a few more home runs, at least for them, right?
Yep.
And then I went and tried to break down the stats every which way to be able to statistically back up. Hey, it looks like they're hot going into the. No. No. So you got to squint really hard to say, hey, look, there's some signs. But again, winning record in July, took 2 or 3 from the Phillies, faced probably their best pitching during this homestand that they have in a while. And actually, I shouldn't say the best pitching, but they did as well as they have against good pitching in a while. So these are things that I do think that there were better at bats. And I do think they played better offensively, but I got nothing for you. And I was almost late to dinner. That's how dedicated I am. I was late to dinner yesterday, searching and searching for some sort of statistical evidence that this team's just about to take off, and it's not there. And, it was there last year at this time.
Sorry, I was late. I was looking up numbers on the Padres batting average with one out and runners in scoring position and runners on third base for this team the last week. My bad. So 66 games remaining, Kevin. To get to 90 wins, they would need to go 38-28. Do you feel like that's feasible? What's in your mind a number that they need to get to feel comfortable to make the postseason?
Comfortable. Well, comfortable, I think, is probably 90 wins, right? It's hard for me to believe it doesn't shake out that way. Whatever, I haven't even looked, because I think last year people were trending to have, better records than what ended up getting you in, which is 89, I think, 89 wins. Look, 86 has got to, I only go back 3 years because, that's when the playoff format changed, they expanded. So 86 has gotten the team in. 84 got the Diamondbacks in. You don't know what's going to happen after the deadline, maybe, and you see who kind of gave up. Maybe you have a better idea. But there's, 90 to be comfortable. I was thinking, what do they have to do? So they're 8 over now. That doesn't do it. Does 12 over do it? I don't know if the 12 over does it. So, yeah, I like that. 38. I don't know that 90 is necessary, but to feel comfortable, 90, sure.
Is there any update on Michael King? What's possible here? Some point in August remains realistic?
Yes, some point in August is still the idea. I have not been able to 100% confirm what's been happening with the baby. Now he's back in San Diego and will be for the whole trip, but that was always the plan. There was an announcement by the team about Sheets' baby, and I have not been able to get a hold of anybody who knows anything about what's going on with Michael there. But he is back home. His wife was to be induced during the break, and that's where he's at. And look, he can get just as much done there for the most part as he could here in terms of getting built back up. It's like he's going through a kind of a accelerated spring training right now.
That makes sense. All right. Well, a lot going on. Second half gets underway within the next 30 or 40 minutes from DC. 10 on the road for the Padres and just 13 days out from the trade deadline. Travel safe, Kevin. We'll do it Monday from where? Miami? We're going to talk to you from 5 states, right? You were at Dallas-Fort Worth. You were in Georgia. You were in DC. That's not even a state.
Kevin will be on his, I believe, 6th shirt on Monday.
So 4 states and a district.
Jim, did you realize DC isn't a state?
Bro, you know me. I can't. I don't know anything.
Yeah, okay. So he didn't realize that. Kevin, safe travels. We'll catch up from South Florida.
Right on. Take care, guys.
All right. Earlier today with Kevin Acey, we've got the Comic-Con winner of the 2 single-day badges at 5:30. Plus, can the Padres do something again? We'll explain on the other side. It's John and Jim. So if you're maxed out on credit cards or struggling with high interest debt, you could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey guys, it is Schaefer. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals or waiting, no BS. It's the Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto. It really is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved under 24 hours, paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. Just a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity, it's yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Call now to start the conversation. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336. Get debt relief now at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLS, consumeraccess.org. All right, the iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances by Ed Sheeran, John Fogerty, and more. September 19th and 20th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Buy tickets to AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out. All right, final chance. Final chance is right now. Open up that iHeart app. Search for San Diego Sports 760. You've got 5 minutes to do it. Leave a talkback. Hit that little red microphone. Leave a talkback and tell us your favorite superhero. You have 5 minutes. Now you got about 4:40 to do it. Last chance to qualify and win 2 single-day badges to Comic-Con. Open the app, search for 760, click on the talkback, tell us your favorite superhero. You're entered to win 2 single-day badges to Comic-Con.
Yeah, do it right now. This might be your last chance to win Comic-Con badges
this year.
So get in while you can.
Can the Padres do something, Jim? It's far from a certainty, but they have won. We said this last week. They've won 5 games this year, 1-0. That's an amazing amount of 1-0 wins, like a ridiculous amount of 1-0 wins. They're leading right now in the 6th inning, 1-0. So, like, the story remains the story. They can't score, right? They're facing a guy with what, a 6 ERA today or 5.5? Mike Soroka, yeah. And they can't really score.
Hey, Dylan Cease looked great.
Right. They've scratched across the run. Dylan Cease has been terrific, as you promised he would be.
But they promised.
It's kind of crazy that they are the way in which they've managed games. We'll see. It's only the 6th inning, but I mean, it's crazy. They've won this many games 1-0, and they're trying to do it again potentially tonight.
Bringing back to the point of what's the biggest concern with this team, it's the offense. It still remains the offense. Kevin on with us earlier, as you just heard with us. They went 6-4 on their homestand to end the break, but he said, "Look, you got to squint really hard to see this team and be like, oh yeah, they're playing really good baseball." Because they're still doing the same things that they've been doing for the last 2 months, which is having one of the worst offenses in the league, can't hit with runners in scoring position, have no pop, too many close games, and your bullpen is getting taxed.
Can they 1-0 their way to beating good teams, though? Because they've got among the worst records in baseball against good teams, 18-31.
No, you can't.
Against teams over 500.
Because clearly it hasn't worked for them this year.
It really hasn't. I think Kevin wrote this, fourth worst record in the NL against teams over 500. Now they've cleaned up against bad teams.
Yeah, you could 1-0 your way to beat bad teams, but you can't 1-0 your way to beat good teams. And in the postseason, you're going to have to get timely hitting. You're going to have to hit with runners in scoring position. They have already the elite bullpen. We'll see about the front of their rotation, but like their offense is a major problem still.
It is. It is. And this is the formula. I mean, to Mike Schultz's credit, like they got a great outing from Dylan Cease. I mean, it's terrific.
Great
obviously,
outing.
If it's 1-0. So he's going to leave in the 6th inning. And they say, you know what? We've got a rested bullpen after the All-Star break. And can we ride these 4 horsemen to a shutout win potentially? And who knows? Maybe the Padres offense scores 10 runs from here on out in the game. Maybe they don't, though. And it's just amazing how when a starter leaves with a lead, they turn it over to the Estradas and the Morahones and the Jason Adams and the Robert Suarez. And it's worked out a ton this year. So this is the formula. We said it. Can you have a lead after 5 innings? And if you're the Padres, you feel really good about your chances when you lead after 5 innings. And that's exactly what they're doing here tonight in DC.
But the thing is, like, they can't do this all the time.
I don't think so either.
And they're doing it all the time.
It makes no sense. I think it makes no sense.
If they were doing this, like if it was September 20th and they were doing this all the time leading up to, like in September, leading up to the playoffs, I could be like, all right, ride it as long as you possibly can. They got 2 full months left, 2.5 full months.
Right. Like, is it possible to keep doing that?
No, it's not. I don't care how great the back and the bullpen has been, and they've been great.
Right.
To have all these guys be pitching the most innings and the most appearances of their careers.
And working clean, scoreless innings.
All the time.
Throughout the second half.
Like you're right now asking, hey, bullpen, once again, hold a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, don't allow a run for the next 3 2/3 innings. Do that every single time you come onto the mound.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem sustainable. Kyle Glaser we had on. He's like, that's not sustainable yet. Yeah. Here they are looking for maybe a 6th 1-0 win this year, which is like, I mean, how many teams in baseball history have ever won 6 games 1-0 in a year?
Well, I'm sure Kevin will find.
Yeah, I'm gonna text him. I'm gonna ask him if the final score in this game is 1-0. But honestly, the story within the story is Dylan Cease.
6 1/3,
5 1/3.
5 1/3. Sorry, potential shutout innings. We'll see what happens with the runner on first base, which is his runner. So 5 1/3. Look, against a bad Nationals team, I would like to see more innings from him, but that 94 pitches and
no runs is no runs if it holds up.
And right now, the way Schultz is operating is, look, I can't bank on this team scoring any more runs because right now, offensively, we stink. So I'm going to have to try to hold a 1-0 lead with my great bullpen.
Yep. Yeah, I get it. I mean, like, for example, in this exact spot, he goes to Adrian Morahone to face this brilliant slugger who used to be a Padres farmhand and James Wood.
You can do it coming out of the break because everyone's fully rested.
Yeah, and honestly, even if you're not fully rested, I get it. You're treating the game like it matters. I respect that. There's 66 games to be played in the year. When you have a chance to win a game, go win the game. And that is who Mike Schultz has been as a manager. They don't wait to win games. There's like, well, if we win some, we lose some. No, you're leading in the 6th inning.
Peralta here.
No, you're leading in the 6th inning. Go win the game. I mean, you should win games that you're leading in the 6th inning or later. And we'll see if that's the case or not here tonight.
But the good thing is Dylan Cease, after reading the numbers to you guys earlier today, has been awful on the road. He's going to make 2 starts on the road in this 10-game road trip out of the break. And his first start, very good. Very, very, very good.
Absolutely. No, encouraging. I completely agree with you. This is exactly what Padres fans were hoping for, and it's what they've gotten here tonight.
Yep.
1-0. The Padres are leading the Nationals in the 6th inning in DC. We've got the Comic-Con badges winner to share with you on the other side. Jim's back. Paige is still ahead. We're here until 6 p.m.
And by the way, just before we go, most appearances in the big leagues this season out of the bullpen, 3 relievers are in the top 6 of most relief appearances in baseball. Morahone, Estrada, and Adam. So all three of those guys, theoretically, at the end of the year, could be 1, 2, and 3 in appearances in the big leagues this season.
Yeah, Morejon and Adam have appeared in 47 games. Estrada's appeared in 46 games. No one in the major leagues has appeared in more than 48 games so far.
3 of their best relievers are
crazy.
I mean, 1 or 2, okay, but 3, that's a lot, man.
Yeah, you're right. Someone might make 80 appearances based on that pace this year for the Padres. All right, Comic-Con badges. We'll have the winner for you on the other side. Jim's back page still ahead here until 6. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by the Jim Buttrell Real Estate Team. Padres and Nationals in DC right now. Padres are holding on to a 1-0 lead in the top of the 7th inning. And tomorrow, SDFC, they take on Vancouver at home at Snapdragon Stadium, a battle between the top two teams in the Western Conference. 7:30 kickoff, 7 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Buttrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Jim's back pages ahead. We've got a winner for a final time, a pair of single day badges to Comic-Con 2025 next weekend right here in San Diego. Thanks to everyone that's participated this week by opening up that iHeart app and using the talkback mic. So who is our winner today? Let's get a drum roll from Brent.
Congratulations to Chris from Oceanside.
Wow.
Chris from Oceanside, you have won a pair of badges to Comic-Con. Congratulations to Chris.
Next weekend, we gave away 10 badges, a pair of single day badges to 5 different winners this week. So we gave away 10 badges. It's our best giveaway of the year. And thanks to everyone for participating all week long. That's next weekend. What, 135,000 people, I think they said, expected. Something like that.
Is that good?
Next weekend is for Comic-Con. I think it is. I think it's pretty cool. You guys have attended. I've been outside. It is a scene, man.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. I mean, you get in there and you don't even realize how much you walk.
Right.
And you're like, I just went 10 times up and down the convention center. I don't even know what happened.
Right.
Because you miss a lot of things.
What are you attempting to do? Like you specifically, once you're in, you have a badge, you're inside the convention center. What are you seeing or what are you doing once you're in the convention center?
There's a lot of like memorabilia from movies. So this year, I'm sure they'll have props and costumes from maybe like the new Superman movie or the Fantastic Four movie.
So you're seeing it. You're not. No one's purchasing.
No. You're seeing it. They have different activation booths for different, TV shows and movies. And they have deep cut stuff. They have a comic book section. They have a Funko Pop section. They have like the resale section from like vendors there. They have a gaming section.
This is all inside.
Oh yeah, it's all inside. They have memorabilia. You could go buy some things and you can buy some cards and there's everything is in there that you could imagine.
Okay,
everything.
I always take a lap so you can kind of scope everything out and see what they got. And then once you've taken a lap and you kind of got the layout, then you kind of start. The 2 times I've gone, both times I've kind of had it in my head of I want to get something kind of unique for whether it's a Funko or like the one year I got like a Tyrion Lannister like thing from Game of Thrones. So then I'll just kind of start looking for that. Because like if you're looking for like a unique Funko or something like that, there's going to be millions of them because it's like every 5 feet is going to be a new booth. So you'll have tons of those to look at. I always think it's funny too when because they'll have like they're not security, but they're security. They'll sit there and just tell everyone to, all right, keep moving, keep walking, because they don't want you sitting around. Because if there's like a panel that's not in one of the halls, like they did one year for I think one of the Aquaman movies, so like Jason Momoa and Amber Heard before she had her thing when everyone still liked her, they were like out in the main panel, so they didn't want everyone just loitering around and hanging out and clogging up the line. So they pretty much pay people to shove you down the convention center floor.
All right. Well, we've have our winners. So enjoy Comic-Con 2025 in San Diego. Jim's back page is coming up. I meant to touch on this earlier. SDFC tomorrow night. You can hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760. This is a massive match for them because you look at the Western Conference standings. We're now into the second half of the year, and the top 2 teams in the West are San Diego and Vancouver. They're squaring off tomorrow night at Snapdragon, a match you can hear on San Diego Sports 760. San Diego FC, 42 points. Vancouver, a match in hand, 41 points. That's tomorrow night. I mean, that is a huge match. The third place team, by the way, Minnesota, is only 2 points behind San Diego and 1 point behind Vancouver. This is a big match. There's 11 matches to go. in the regular season. And another good opportunity, I would say, for SDFC at home. They've been great at home. They weren't on Wednesday night, but on the whole, they've had a really good year at home.
Scoring no goals on
Tough to win.
Wednesday. You can't win games when you don't score goals.
Tough to win.
But also the storyline of Milan Iloski, that they can't come to terms on an agreement. And then he's one of your leading goal scorers. I think he might have been the leading goal scorer on the team. He's one. I think he is. He is. 10 goals.
Dreyer.
Maybe 10. They might have the same amount of goals, but I know Milan Iloski is one of the top goal scorers in the league, especially per minute. I mean,
yeah, per minute is number one.
Per minute,
Dreyer has 11, Iloski 10.
Okay, but still, one of your top goal scorers. Now it makes it harder on your club, and now the other team is not going to have to game plan for Milan Iloski.
Mm-hmm.
So without Milan on the team, how are you getting that other scoring? And that's what we said the other day. Like, how can you get that other scoring from other players around the club when Milan is now not there?
I mean, that's what I'm curious about come Saturday, because it was in the match against Vancouver on the road. You talked about it. He had 4 goals in 12 minutes against this Vancouver team that at the time was in first place in the Western Conference and right now is in second place. So these are opportunities for SDFC. Their next match, by the way, is at home against Nashville coming up next weekend on a Friday. Then they break for Leagues Cup for about a week and a half. And then the regular season ends in October. You're kind of pushing. They got a long year. It's a long
soccer for an MLS. It can go like 10 months.
Well, it can go to December if they made.
That's right. Cup. Yeah. And then like a month or a month and a half off.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So you're right. It can go all the way until December. Listen, at this point, is it safe to say, Jim, they're making the postseason?
Unless something drastic happens or catastrophic.
You're in first place. That'd be a disaster, right?
Yeah. I'm not saying that they have to make the playoffs as the top seeded team in the West, but
they have to make
making the playoffs now with this much of the season that has gone by, you kind of have to do it. So I think going into the rest of their season, they're going to have to figure out how to score more goals. And that's something that they obviously know they have to figure out how to, figure out, because without Milan there, that weapon that they had, how are you replacing that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you can hear it again tomorrow night right here on San Diego Sports 760. There'll be no 1-0 win for the Padres today because they lead 2-0.
Small ball for the win, baby.
Because they lead 2-0. The story tonight to this point, they're in the 7th inning. It's 2-0. Opening game of a 10-game road trip against the Washington Nationals. The story tonight is Dylan Cease, who struck out 10 batters in 5 1/3 scoreless innings. He did not issue a walk. So Dylan Cease getting the second half started the way the Padres are hoping it would start. We'll see if they can hold on to this 2-run lead and maybe extend out this 2-run lead. The Nationals, they took 2 out of 3 earlier in the year. The Nationals are 20 games under 500.
So win a series.
Exactly. So at least win the series against the bad Washington Nationals. And by the way, it's not like the Miami Marlins are good. They did have a 7 or 8 game winning streak at some point recently, but the Marlins haven't had a great year as expected. You're playing the Marlins coming up. They're well under 500. So yeah, I mean, I think a 6-4 road trip is at least something to strive for the Padres, especially if you get out of the gates, win a series in DC. I think at that point you're striving for a 6-4 trip.
The one thing about this offense, it's going to be torture. It's going to be torture to watch this team. The amount of effort and work that they have to put in to just put one run across the board, it's so much, dude. It is like, and give me a good analogy of like what watching this offense is like.
I don't know.
Well,
it's
whatever's
hard on them to score.
Yeah, whatever sucks and whatever is hard for someone to do, like that's the Padres offense.
And I really don't get it. The fact that Manny Machado, he's run into a ton of balls. He's hit 17 home runs. But the fact that like Tatis doesn't just randomly run into a ball, or Merrill, or, it feels like it should happen more often than it's happening. It's not like Tatis has the lowest home run total of his career. He could still hit 30, and Machado probably hits 30. But it does feel like they're really lacking for power. I mean, Sheets has run into a number of balls this year, but for whatever reason, it is pulling teeth analogy.
There you go.
Feels like
pulling
teeth.
And it's just so, man. This is who they are, dude. The great pitching, great bullpen, and Manny Machado and scratching and clawing to put on just enough runs across the board. Padres baseball, it's torture.
2025, it's torture.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 100 games in basically at this point. You're right. This is who they are. I have no idea how it could change. Maybe at the trade deadline. This doesn't change at the trade deadline unless Jackson Merrill has a 10 home run month or Fernando Tatis Jr. is a 9 or 10 home run month. Like that's what we're looking for. I'm not counting on, Luis Robert Jr. to have an 11 home run month after the trade deadline if he gets it. I'm just not counting on that. So again, bullpen's been great. Dylan Cease has been great. Padres are leading the Nationals in the 7th inning, 2-0. We'll see if the bullpen can hold the lead. We're going to come back one final time here for the week with the back page. And then it feels like the longest week ever, to be honest with you.
Because we're gone.
We're traveling.
We're here. They were gone. Then we're back again.
We're in Vegas. We're blah.
Earlier this week,
twice.
you flew home from New York on Monday morning.
I did. That's crazy.
I drove home from Vegas Sunday night.
Sunday night. I know. It's been a long week.
And then 2 flights, one to Vegas, one back here.
I know.
And then finishing up the week here.
It's insane. It's the week that never ends.
I'm going to sleep all weekend, and it's going to happen all over again.
Yes, it will happen. Well, except without the travel.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. On the other side, we'll get to Jim's back page. Don't go anywhere. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, SDFC back in the pitch tomorrow night. Taking on Vancouver at Snapdragon. You can hear the match live tomorrow night starting at 7 right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. Padres maintaining a 2-0 lead into the 8th inning. Fernando Tatis Jr. showing off his arm again. Throwing out Josh Bell at third with a spectacular throw.
You think he looked at, well, he can't look at his phone in the dugout, but Ronald Acuna Jr., if you have not seen it, go to social media
and find this play.
And find Ronald Acuna Jr. throwing out a runner at third base from like the right field corner.
In like foul territory.
He in Atlanta, I don't know who they're playing.
The Yankees.
They're playing the Yankees?
Yeah.
Okay. So he makes a catch in like deep right field, like warning track in the corner.
Yeah.
He doesn't even, he catches it, turns around flat-footed, throws a laser to third, gets the runner at third base.
Massive. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Like you guys all remember the Ichiro throw back in the day?
Yeah.
Like you're like, what, from right field?
Yeah, like, right, exactly.
I would argue this might be more impressive because of how he was so flat-footed and so nonchalantly just threw it in, and it was a seed.
On a line. How many feet is that throw? Right field corner to third. How many feet is that throw?
I have no idea, but it's not it's very far.
60.
And when you watch it, it looks like it's going to take a hop, but it just stays in the air.
Yeah.
It just continues to just sail.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Almost like a frisbee, like just like keeps going.
Dude,
but
unbelievable.
Tatis here in this game.
Tatis just threw a ball 110 miles per hour to third base and gunned out Josh Bell.
Exactly.
It wasn't even close because he's such a good thrower. All right, let's get to it.
Shake Shack. If you're a fan of Shake Shack, mark your calendars for Sundays for the rest of July. July through July 27th. Okay, customers can score a free Chicken Shack Shake Shack's crispy buttermilk marinated chicken breast sandwich topped with lettuce, pickles, and buttermilk herb mayo by placing an order of $10 or more using the promo code Chicken Sundays. So if you spend $10 or more, you get a free Shake Shack chicken sandwich at Shake Shack.
Say that 3 times.
I won't. Okay. Yeah, Shake Shack is delicious, by the way.
I've been, but not a ton.
Why would you go? You don't eat chicken.
But I eat shakes.
You eat shakes.
He likes fries.
Yeah, I've been.
They have good crinkle cut fries or the little, I don't know what they're called.
Crinkles.
Crinkled fries. I don't know.
It's just like hearing you say words. See what happens.
I don't.
Okay, what else you got?
A&W Root Beer is set to release a new ice cream sundae flavored soda coming this August, combining classic dessert flavors with a fizzy twist. A limited edition beverage will be available in both regular and zero sugar varieties. What do you think of that?
That sounds very good. Sounds really delicious. Brent, I feel like Brent would be a fan of that.
It seems like a dessert soda.
A dessert
you know,
soda.
you go to Temecula and they'll be like, "Oh, this is a dessert wine." It's like,
Right,
yeah, that sounds
dessert
like a
soda.
dessert soda.
Yeah, it does.
Chocolate sundae soda.
Sounds good.
I'm not a big root beer guy. I've never been a root beer guy.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I don't hate it. I just don't drink it very often.
Root beer's okay on its own, but root beer floats are one of the greatest things ever.
Ooh.
Hot take.
I don't think it's a hot take.
Yeah, it's not a hot take.
But for me, I wouldn't.
What about a root beer float?
No.
You don't like it?
I just don't like the taste of root beer.
Yeah.
That's what the ice cream's for, man.
But still, you would taste the root beer
Right,
flavor
right.
though, even with the ice cream.
Right.
And finally, we all saw the Coldplay meme,
Oh, Lord.
or not even a meme, just what happened at the Coldplay concert between
The
the
most viral thing ever.
one of the most viral things I've ever seen.
And they're
Yeah.
trying to blame it on Coldplay now too, not on them.
It's incredible how if these two people, the CEO of this company and his HR director, if they literally just did nothing, this would have not turned into what it is
Yeah,
right
but
now.
is that your initial reaction? Okay.
No, I get it.
What's your initial reaction going to be if you're caught red-handed?
You freak out.
That's basically, I mean, again, does it make it a million times worse? It made it 100 million times worse.
Mm-hmm. If they just acted normal and if they just like kissed,
yeah, probably nobody would ever be the wiser.
No, I don't know if that ever gets out.
The CEO of some random company. You know, like how would you put the 2 and 2 together? Like, oh, that's not his.
Someone at Coldplay that would know him? Like him. But
what are the odds of that?
I didn't know this guy.
Of course not. Nobody knew this guy.
So anyway, the statement that he released yesterday, the CEO.
It's not a real statement.
It's not a real statement?
No, the company has since come out and said there's been no real statement other than this one.
Oh, well, then never mind.
What's the statement?
Well, here's the fake statement that was making its rounds yesterday. And it was being put out there as like legitimate.
Definitely.
It's pretty funny. Like the fake one. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So his name's Andy Byron. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a billionaire. This was the fake statement. I want to acknowledge the moment that's been circulating online and the disappointment it's caused. What was supposed to be a night of music and joy turned into a deeply personal mistake playing out on a very public stage. I want to sincerely apologize to my wife, my family, and the team at Astronomer. You deserve better from me as a partner, a father, and as a leader. This is not who I want to be or how I want to represent the company I helped to build. I'm taking time to reflect, take accountability, and to figure out the next steps. Everything's fine there in this fake statement.
Right.
Personally and professionally, I ask for privacy as I navigate this process. I also want to express how troubling it is that what should have been a private moment became public without my consent. I respect artists and entertainers, but I hope we can all think more deeply about the impact of turning someone else's life into a spectacle. As a friend once sang,
come on,
quote, lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
I mean, that's how you know it's fake.
Yeah.
Even Twitter or X has this is a fake press release.
Yeah, but in this day and age, would it really surprise you if two people got caught cheating at a Coldplay concert and instead of taking accountability, they blamed it on Coldplay?
Well, I saw a funny statement where it was like, I need to take accountability. It is true. I'm a fan of Coldplay. And now that everyone knows because this has gone viral, like I feel bad about it.
This has made Coldplay relevant again.
Yeah. Dude,
who was talking?
This is huge.
Who was talking about Coldplay?
I don't know.
Nobody was.
They had apparently a lot of people are into Coldplay. The concert looked packed.
I guess.
Right. What is I mean, is that meme gonna exist? Like, are we gonna be seeing that meme for the next 22 years?
It's gonna be a meme that's gonna last for a while.
That's gonna last for a while.
It's gonna be the Falls Hawk Tua chick. Remember how she was everywhere for like
that was uber
2 months?
Uber viral.
It's gonna be
Hawk
like
Tua.
that. That's the new that.
But the thing with the Hawk Tua girl is she tried to parlay that into like a career. So she tried to take that 15 minutes of fame.
She made it like 30.
Yeah, she made about 30 until she crashed out from stealing money from people with a crypto coin.
Right. That's right. The best is the memes that have come out of this Coldplay incident already, where like they put the Steelers logo on the dude's head, and then on the woman they put 9-8 record. And he's like wrapping his arms around a 9-8 record for the Steelers. There's been so many good ones
there's
like
millions
that.
of them. There's a Bret Hart Goldberg one that made me laugh.
Yeah, AI is taking it to another level.
It really has.
And I said finally, but I got one more. The juvenile. Hold on. Sertors.
Mark that.
Sertor.
Let me see it. What are you talking? You wanted to?
I know.
Like,
I
finally
know.
got something else.
I had it in my head. I could say it in my head, but I can't.
Ceratosaurus.
Ceratosaurus.
Yeah, you mean the dinosaur?
Yes,
the Ceratosaurus.
Ceratosaurus.
I don't know.
It's Ceratosaurus.
Whatever you said was like,
I'm like Ceratosaurus. Yeah. Sold at a Sotheby the other day.
Sotheby's. All right, that's it.
It's a long week.
That was great. That was really great.
I'm done.
A dinosaur sold for $30 million at Sotheby's. That's the story. Jim made it sound like it was a foreign language.
I can't speak, dude. I'm done. I'm done for today.
No, you're done.
I'm just done.
You're
in
done.
general.
If you missed anything,
oh my goodness,
you're lucky. SportsSD.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. We're back Monday at 2 p.m. Wrap-up show tonight. Maybe Jim will be speaking then. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here. What's wrong with you?
What did I say?
I have no idea. It's San Diego Sports 760.
Ceratosaurus?
Just say dinosaur.
I know.